your head, can't get too loud. Was just about to jump, yeah, through the crowd. Pull up with the Rook, I'm ready for a round. Down so deep, muffled all the sound. Hope all y'all doing good as always. And alright. Daily Lil Autizmo TikTok.
What's David?
Okay.
What's that banana?
Meme.
Pharma continues to market their products by bribing healthcare providers with financial incentives to
Bro,
a huge
was-
overprescription of not content with
Cameraman
making
going
billions
crazy.
of dollars from the open.
Bottom right. What? Like, this cat always wants beef. I don't know what's wrong with them. Yeah. I just imagine a
Course, highly
pipe
addictive.
falling
And probably almost everybody watching
down into the kid's head.
this has experienced it at least once in their life. However, this attention-seeking behavior, whilst rewarding in the digital realm, can be really
Just
toxic
kill
in real
that
life. In real-world interactions, the same behavior
R.I.P.
is encouraged by social media.
R.I.P. child. Made it in. Yep. I only care about the first one. That's crazy. Only care about the first one. Hey, 31 hearts though, damn. 3 saved. Alright. Shit. Appreciate it.
You don't have permission to be here.
And now we're down to 5. Some tell me the brother Ew gave me a lot of likes. It's kinda edgy joke. My favorite low income streamer. How have you been doing, dude? The crazy part is I'm actually a low income streamer. I'm doing normal as always. 2 years, yeah, damn. OG fellow, man.
You're about to be ejected.
Not that active though. Oh, am I now? How you doing? And how you doing, spam as well? I know. What's up, bitch? 3 years, that crazy. Stay hydrated. Shut your ass up. You really got me there for a second. Yeah. Delayed reaction. Like, what is their problem, bro? Like, just be chill. Woman be like is crazy. Bro's a dog. She started barking. What the fuck? Doing great. That's what's up. You. Bro. We won?
You don't have permission to.
Hey, but 5 hearts still though. Appreciate it. Damn. 1 heart. I fell off. Stop stalking me, you. You page stalk. Farmer? Okay. Type shit. Nope. It says hillbilly. It doesn't say mechanic. Yeah. 2 minutes. Breg. It's a hillbilly. Damn it, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. My bro is blind. What does the Manhattan do? Okay, I see you. Oh. Shovel guy and check between arrows. You stupid bitch. Listen, bitch. What, man? Oh. Yeah, but his name is still Hillbilly. The other guy's name is Mechanic. You're the idiot. He's the real Mechanic. Idiot. Where are the villagers? I'm not seeing any. That's just cringe. I'm not seeing any of that. Alright.
Wow, it's very nice.
Alright, 6 hearts. Alright, we're coming back. Appreciate the hearts. Right through my spine. Alright. Hey, you're early today though, Spam. Oh, it's Monday. Like, I actually forgot. Wait. Did you put the links in Reaction Monday? Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. Wait, I gotta change the title then. I totally forgot. Time moves fast. React Monday. Reaction Monday. Reaction Monday sounds better. Last 2 days you slept the evening. What? Oh, last 2 days you were sleeping in the evening. In the evening? Alright, I mean that's not really good. But I guess it is what it is. Okay. Like you begin sleeping from 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. Wait, what? Huh. Interesting time to go to sleep. Alright.
When you stop and think about it, the traditional narrative as to why Hitler went to war makes no sense. Hitler, they say, was a madman who wanted to conquer the world, or a big giant farm in the east, because Hitler wanted Germans to be farmers. And they say it's because...
I mean, this might be boring. I don't know. Or just yapping. We'll see.
Mussolini's mistress was...
This is all history lessons. Wait. How many history lessons?
Mussolini's mistress was...
I don't think I just want to watch all the history lessons.
Ilu ei tunne piire. Vali nädala kingitus veebipoest makeup.ee.
Defined. Been fascism and National Socialism. Churchill was an idiot. The Axis were not natural allies. I mean, yeah,
This, like any story worth telling, is all about a boy.
But it's well, okay. Definitely watch this one.
Flash Thompson, the man I loved since before I even liked dicks. Too bad that he was hanging out with that slut Mary Jane Watson. One day, I wanted to be noticed by him.
Wait, slut. That's woke.
So badly that I threw a food plate on him. That was a bad idea.
Think you're pretty funny, don't you, freak?
I just wanted to suck your dick, Flash.
I would want to suck my dick either.
Kick his ass, man.
I want the progress report on the
So
anti-gay
he's just
serum.
gay?
We tried vapor inhalation with rodent subjects. They stopped mating with the same genders.
That's excellent. Any side effects?
In one trial, yes.
What were the side effects?
Violence, aggression, and homophobia.
And what do you recommend?
We need to take the whole line back to formula.
Back to formula? Dr. Osborne, Baptist Anti-Homo Church said they will turn my daughter back to normal in 2 weeks.
That's so crazy. Baptist Anti-Homo Church. What?
And if your so-called anti-gay serum have not had a successful human trial by that date, I'm going to pull your funding. I'm going to give it to them.
Dr. Osborne, please. The anti-gay serum isn't ready.
Sometimes you gotta do things yourself.
He's too gay.
Norman!
God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Okay.
These are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life. Just be careful who you're changing.
Are you afraid that I'm gonna tickle your balls tonight? Quit worrying about me, okay? I mean, I am gonna tickle your balls, but stop lecturing me, please.
What?
You're an amazing creature, gay man.
Gay man.
You and I are not so different.
You put your PP into Pinky. I put my PP into Stinky. We're not the same.
Join me. Imagine what we could accomplish together. All the women we could breed.
Or you can keep sucking dick again and again and again until we're both dead. Is that what you want?
Wait, low-key, yeah.
I love you.
But I'm gay.
What's gay?
It means I love men.
What's gay?
Yeah?
Who doesn't know that?
Then I'm gay as well.
Jesus Christ, she's stupid too.
And we get a gambling ad. Of course.
Avasta Adventurose metsikuid maitseid iga päev, nii äratad oma
He got
koera
brain rot.
loomulikku seiklushimu. Proovi Adventurost.
I'm tired of your brain rot, Pete.
Listen to me! I didn't glitch your father! He was trying to glitch me! He glitched himself! Shut
Remember Skibbity Toilet Riz?
What the fuck does that mean anyway?
Everything!
Pete, what is it? It's MJ. I'm gonna try my Skibbity Riz on her. I see Skibbity Toilet behind a window. Sussy bakas yapping around like Skibbity bop, 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 bop. I'm yapping to myself. I'm just a baby Gronk from Queens. Do I have this kind of Riz?
You called me Freddy Fazbear. Don't you remember?
Well, you are Freddy Fazbear, and you've earned it.
I don't feel very well. I'm sorry. I have to go. Please don't follow me.
So I come here
Skibbity
like
Riz.
True Sigma, and
Everyone
my Riz
walking
is
backwards.
busting, no cap. But when I think she's about to be busting it down with style,
Yeah.
she just leaves.
Man, I told you I'm sick of your brain rot shit. Do you want me to punch another hole in the wall?
How's the pie?
Shit's bussin'.
My Skibbity Riz didn't work, Aunt May. I don't know what to do.
You start by doing the hardest thing. Start talking like a normal person, you moron.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, bro probably has brain rot.
So where you been, pal? You don't return my calls.
I've been mewing.
Trying to look like a Giga Chad?
More
Why
brain
still no bitches these days?
Look at you, Peter. Your grades have been steadily declining. You're late for class. You look like you had a plastic surgery.
Bro, I've been on a mewing streak.
Mewing is not a major at this university.
Why wasn't I told?
What's this, broke Mr. Beast? A head sticking out of a toilet? A watermelon cat?
Get your pretty little portfolio off my desk before I go into a brain rot coma.
Bro, these pics are
Wait, that
phantom
actually
tax.
didn't sound
If you
like
post
AI.
them, your paper's gonna be busting no cap.
You're fired.
Bruh, this sussy baka tried to skibidi riz me up like baby Gronk. Gat for sure, almost mogged my mewing streak.
Oh,
Peter, what the fuck have you been talking about for the last hour and a half? Rosie, our new friend has brain rot. You can sleep in a nut house tonight.
You need to sleep soundly tonight, Otto.
Did Edison sleep before he turned on the light? Did Beethoven sleep before he wrote the Fifth?
Did the fuck boom sleep before he slapped that
The
skibidi
fuck?
toilet riz?
Oh, Rosie.
Oh yeah, the one who created Skibidi. Oh no. Are we good? Easy. Damn.
Sometimes even just grab them for free? That sounds like a deal. The reality is though that Temu is nothing more than a poor attempt at a cash grab. The e-commerce site is specifically designed to squeeze as much money out of its customers as possible, starting as soon as you log in. When the Temu page loads, you're
You get addicted to that. Yeah, that's horrible.
bombarded with numerous banners, each declaring a bigger limited sale than the last. Time is flashing at you as if to say if you don't react right now, you'll miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
That's
Potential
so
customers
bullshit.
are overwhelmed with bright colors, percentages,
Allah.
signs, and busy screens, while more conservative browsers are able to overlook these tactics as they
Hope you're doing good, man.
score through their opinions. A lot of people fall for the faux urgency the platform triggers, but unfortunately this can lead to them spending more than they can afford on items that are either already broken or probably won't end up lasting very long. Now, considering Temu claims to be committed to environmental sustainability, the sheer number of
What? You were at a girl's house? Damn. You got more risk than I do. That was cringe.
pointless plastic gadget says otherwise. You'd think that only having a few items in your carts would be a good thing. Temu's vendors can use less packaging and won't have to produce more unnecessary products, which means less strain on the environment. Service makes it very difficult to get a refund. It's a process that's happening across the internet as a whole right now. As more and more companies like Temu show that you can get away with this, companies are choosing to limit all of these essential services. But how did Temu ever get so big in the first place? How did it become so widespread, and where did it come from? Well, it turned out their marketing strategy was social media. There are millions of videos all over the internet of unknown creators, random Instagram pages, and even major influencers reviewing Temu and vouching for the quality of their products.
That was actually pretty cool.
Temu has created an entire trend online of people pointlessly shopping.
So like advertisements and sponsors, yeah.
And then
Okay.
showing it to their viewers to incentivize others to also buy useless products just to feel a part of the trend. I mean, if you go on YouTube, it's taken over right now. There's a countless array of videos of just people buying the most pointless products you can imagine, and it's become so widespread that it's allowed Temu to skyrocket, making Temu a terrifying sign of the late stage capitalism that we're in right now, where people are incentivized, where it's normal for your favorite influencers to waste money on random garbage from a dodgy Chinese website promoted to their followers, and the cycle repeats over and over again. People have become so hypnotized by overconsumption and the gratification that comes with getting a good deal that their understanding and expectations of prices have been warped. Regular Temu users become so used to buying numerous items for very little that when they see the normal price of items, they'll turn back to Temu, even though this is an impossible standard to live.
Timo, that was big spyware app. Yeah, I heard about that. Just to never make sponsor with them. With Timo? Yeah.
Up to. How can organic brands, real entrepreneurs, real small businesses, or even just regular big businesses ever compete with Temu's pricing when Temu is losing about $30 on every order, which amounts to a loss of about $588 million to $954 million every year? But this is where the toxicness of Temu really kicks.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
As this is all pre-planned and by design. As this doesn't hurt the company's executives, or Temu itself, it's designed to hurt the market and particularly their vendors. You see, this is a classic tech startup tactic. First, they use the funding they get from investors to build an unprofitable but faster and more convenient business model. Uber did this with taxis and destroyed much of the taxi industry. Spotify did this with music. DoorDash with food delivery. Often the service these tech companies offer isn't even that much better than what existed before. Even if it's just a little bit faster though or more convenient, people make the switch anyway. Temu has done this.
Yeah, I don't get it, honestly. I get it if you order like DoorDash and shit, like food, if you're like far away from a restaurant or like a grocery store or whatever, then I get it. But people literally order it because like they're lazy.
Even if it's just a little bit
I don't get that.
faster though or more convenient, people make the switch anyway. Temu has done this, but they focus their business model on the very idea of consumption. With their flashy games and addictive
Just go out and buy it. There you go.
design, they've
Inner his ass in your room.
modified the very process of buying heaps of junk for cheap prices. It's like a stronger version of a drug. Once it hits the market and people see how much more potent it is, everybody wants it. Temu does this for that itch to buy something new, a feeling that nearly every single big company on earth wants to create. With that societal programming to consume and the hole that it temporarily
I need to find the best way to learn math and science.
It's brilliant.org.
Whoa.
Brilliant.
fills, Temu does it better than anyone else around for a far cheaper price, creating a culture online of people desperately trying to get to the bottom of the barrel, the cheapest prices. Quantity over quality. As with Uber, Spotify, and the rest, the money to make the service cheaper has to come out of somewhere.
This who makes everything like items, definitely not from slavery China. Yeah, definitely not that. Fine, if you'll be better, especially if it's food, removing calories to be able to gain more calories than usual. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. People are just getting way too lazy. If there's literally like a store next to your house, why not just walk to there? Why order food and shit?
For Uber,
God covers us all down. What? No.
it's the drivers who make less money. For Spotify, it's the musicians. The consumer gets a slightly better experience, at least for a few years, until they need to make a profit and jack up the prices again.
I am on Spotify.
I want to say that making videos like this takes a
I'll try to go out and what? Yeah.
bunch of work behind the scenes.
Oh, this is an
all
ad?
the scripting to help bring and just texting that makes an giving you access to move exploits the workers and twice the number of video generation credits in your first month. Temu exploits the workers and companies who made all of this junk.
Good eyes,
There are
man.
several stories about Temu manufacturers anonymously coming forward to report that they're essentially working for the e-commerce side for free, all because of how desperate executives are to attract American customers.
So some of the people who manufacture their goods spoke in this article and they remained anonymous for fear of losing their livelihoods. We're working for Temu for free so that Temu can attract more American customers, says Sandy.
According to tech analyst Jeff Lee, many of these manufacturers can't operate on
For free is crazy.
other platforms like Amazon because the gimmicks used on Chinese online markets, like offering freebies for good reviews, are against the platform's policies.
That's literally slavery. For free. What? Actually, what? Especially because of what you say last time. Yeah, I agree, Sabin. Do you to use that thing that tracks your eyes are watching? Nah, I'll be looking at the weirdest things ever. No, I'm good, bro.
Temu vendors have no say when it comes to pricing their products. The platform is always asking them to lower their prices, and they aren't given any say over
Cut
the
it
new
out.
prices if they agree. If vendors are willing to
Come. Is this chemical? Eye tracker. Yeah, they're probably expensive though.
sell their products for less, their
But if I use it, now my eyes getting exposed 24/7. Bro, I'm looking at everything.
listings are usually removed.
Another seller joined the Temu platform but soon found that he had little control over pricing. Temu will often ask him to lower his prices, and if he agrees, the platform will decide what the lower price is.
These lowered prices force vendors to cut corners when creating their products, meaning that Temu's warehouses are stocked with thousands of subpar products, simply so that the platform can maintain its footing in America. The platform has no issue taking advantage of its vendors, so it should come as no surprise that it's perfectly fine if the products its vendors provide were created using forced labor. While Temu does require its suppliers to agree to certain terms and conditions regarding forced labor, it refuses to take responsibility for the fact that it still accepts products that originated in areas like Xinjiang Autonomous Region, otherwise known as the place where Uyghurs are denied their human rights and forced to work in forced labor camps. People shouldn't be too surprised that a site like Temu would take advantage of forced labor. I mean, let's consider its sister site, Pinduoduo. Like Temu, Pinduoduo is an
Pinduoduo? Never heard of that.
online marketplace that offers various products, though it primarily focuses on the traditional agriculture industry. It's been involved in numerous controversies over the years, but for our purposes, I want to focus on its treatment of its employees, specifically concerning what happened in 2021. When you look at the Chinese
that was the spyware app
market, you'll quickly notice that while work-life balance is terrible in the US, it's nearly non-existent in some regions in China. Multiple Chinese executives, including the wealthiest man in the country, praise and even expect their employees to work a 996 schedule. This means that every employee must work from 9 AM to 9 PM, 6 days a week, not including overtime, which is not just expected but encouraged.
大概是9点到9点半的样子回到公司，就是一直工作到晚上9点钟起步。然后如果是下半年的话，大概基本上是11点半到12点。
Crazy.
Now, the wealthy in places like China don't even blink at this, claiming that this way of life is a huge blessing for the younger generation, something that they should be grateful for. But not only is this schedule illegal, but any sane person can immediately see that it's incredibly inhumane, borderline almost slavery, and in some cases even deadly. In 2021, a young woman was heading home at around 1:30 AM with a group of her colleagues. It'd been an incredibly taxing day of work, though nothing out of the ordinary, so it couldn't have been too surprising when she suddenly collapsed. She was rushed to a nearby hospital where she passed away a few hours later. The horrifying news sparked outrage on Chinese social media platforms, with many blaming Pinduoduo for her death, and soon the hashtag centered on her death reached over 260 million views. The Chinese population's anger only worsened when the official account for the e-commerce company gave a very poorly thought out response to a question about whether Pinduoduo should bear the responsibility for the young woman's death. Quote, "Look at those in the underclass. Who isn't excused should bear the responsibility for the young woman's death."
I just realized crazy. Wait, what? You see on
thought out response to a
look
question
like sandals or is that like
about whether Pinduoduo should bear the responsibility for the young woman's death.
No, that's bare. Yeah, no, that's bare feet. Bare feet walking is crazy.
Quote, "Look at those in the underclass. Who isn't exchanging life for money? I've never thought of this as a problem of capital, but rather as a problem of the society. We live in an era where we spend our whole lives working hard."
The dogs. No, it's just crazy walking outside with just feet. Like you gotta wear shoes or something. That's just weird.
You can choose to live a comfortable.
Nah, bro, don't put it on me. I mean, I guess yeah, socks would be better, but still. It would be weird to walk on only with socks.
Life if you accept the consequences of comfortable living. People control how much effort they make, everyone does. It was heartless and the worst possible thing they could have said. After deleting the post, the company tried to deny it ever existing, despite the fact that it was quite literally published on their official account. The platform the post had been published on also confirmed they were lying, so Pinduoduo backtracked by apologizing and blaming a contractor for the post. Not 2 weeks after the young woman passed away, a second Pinduoduo employee, this time a young man, suddenly disappeared while visiting his parents. A third employee was allegedly fired the next day for daring to criticize the horrifying work culture the company expected its employees to accept without resistance. While there's been no official reports about the work ethic expected of Temu employees, we can't deny the possibility that the platform might have similar expectations of its workforce as its sister site. Temu doesn't care about how it's making money and doesn't plan on giving up any more than it needs to. This is especially evident when you look at how much tax the e-commerce site has paid to the different countries it operates in.
Never know if they take feed pics or not. Cause I better for your toes. Huh? There's so much shit on the ground. Nah, bro. Mr. Nazi jerk. Nah, I don't think so.
Specifically regarding importing products. Now, most countries have systems that exempt imported goods from taxation if they're under a certain.
Bro, North Korea and China are friends.
amount, which is great for individual citizens and also apparently Temu, which has used these systems to avoid paying taxes on most of the products it imports, especially in the US where packages worth less than $800 are exempt. In 2013, Fashion Dive discovered that of the millions of packages shipped to the US daily, about a third are from Temu and Shein, a site very similar to Temu. Given that most of the products people buy on average are about $11, and each is individually shipped directly to customers, Temu seems strangely dedicated to lowering their customers' carbon emissions, as the US is not only missing out on about
It's not guaranteed.
600,000 packages worth of taxes a day, but Temu and Shein, which together have an estimated value of about $164 billion, don't provide any data on what their packages contain.
And so then when you have this explosion of packages under $800, along with the fact that they don't have the data
I heard about it.
that would otherwise be required to do a targeted inspection regime, you basically make it almost impossible for the CBP to do its job.
To put this into perspective, foreign companies export their products for very little or no cost, taking full advantage of ports and roads on every package's journey to its final destination. Meanwhile, American retailers, like Gap and H&M, spend millions of dollars on import duties every year and provide detailed information on what their packages contain. To say the e-commerce site is taking
There's another Timo clothes.
full advantage of the loophole is an understatement, but unfortunately it's not the only thing they're taking advantage of. While Temu claims that it doesn't steal or sell personal data, that doesn't mean its customers' personal data is completely safe. In March 2024, Temu promised users who participated in a giveaway would receive £50 through PayPal or as web tokens if they signed up, downloaded the app, and sent an invitation code to their friends and family. A huge amount of people signed up. However,
Yeah, that's sus. Yeah, generated.
Person social media users were more conscious and had the personal data pointed out that something was sketchy about the way Temu was running the giveaway. Not only were participants giving
I feel like most giveaways are kind of sketchy and scammy.
the platform access to things like their photos, name likeness, voice, opinions and statements, and also biographical information, but Temu had ensured they didn't need to make good on giving any participants £50. The web tokens were just points you could use on the website. Furthermore, Temu could modify the reward in any way it chose and at any time. Those behind the app could even cancel a customer's reward if they wanted to. So not only had people done free advertising for Temu and provided the platform with plenty of personal data, but Temu didn't even have to give people the promised reward if it didn't want to. As my
Just either complicated aspects, you gotta do so much shit, sign up and stuff. So from trusted people and companies, you could trust it, I guess.
be expected when people started pointing out that something was off with the data Temu was collecting, a spokesperson was quick to defend the practice by saying that it was a standard for many different industries, so there was no need to call them out on it. Temu has admitted that it does share customers' personal data with third parties to enhance the services and personalize its advertising, as does any other website. However, it does seem like they may be sharing more than just names and addresses with third parties, as there are far too many examples of people purchasing a few items from Temu and then receiving a random notification a couple days later that the money has been removed from their bank account. This
Oh no. Facebook and Google versus
problem is so frequently recurring that Temu's support page has an entire section dedicated to unknown charges, which doesn't give you that much confidence. As chaotic as Temu's website can be, there's no denying they've got some excellent looking product photos. No matter the category you scroll through, you'll always find professional photographs of every item you could hope for the most part. Of course, there is the minor detail that most, if not all, are stolen from their original websites with little to no concern for the owners, and then used to sell poorly designed.
Of course. A world where you gotta choose the lesser evil and no good side. Yeah.
Dupes. Let's take wedding dresses for example. If you go onto Temu and search wedding dress, you'll see hundreds of photos of beautiful wedding dresses with intricate details, each looking like they've been handcrafted with the utmost care. Of course, like most of the products on the platform, they're
then you buy and you get it, the product, and it's a complete dog shit.
selling at once in a lifetime prices. Who wouldn't say no to their dream dress when it's priced at just $35? The thing is though, if you were to image search for any of these dresses, not only would you find multiple listings of the same dress on sites like Shein Japan, and AliExpress, both other dodgy e-commerce sites from China, notorious for copying clothing designs, but then you'll eventually find the original dress is usually worth thousands of dollars. People who purchase these dupes will get what they pay for. While the garment may fit, there's a good chance that when it arrives at your door, it could be falling apart and might not look like the dress that was advertised. You see, these dupes and copycat listings aren't limited to well-known successful businesses. There are far too many examples of Temu vendors stealing different artists' products and selling thousands of copies of the items at a fraction of the original price
I mean, it's good, but the product itself, quality is dog shit though.
Before the owners even had a chance to realize.
It takes everything you type, saves it if I'm mistaken.
What's happened. While Temu will take down any stolen designs, it won't compensate the artists who lose out on thousands of dollars worth of sales.
Kelsey's contacted several marketplaces selling her art. Most of them have taken the listings down, but she has yet to receive any compensation.
Filing reports on listings also takes a very long time. Often by the time a
yeah, maybe. Wow. Hell no.
Listing is finally taken down, another is quick to pop up, to the point that it becomes exhausting for the artist to ever keep reporting their stolen products.
You can send it in the Reaction Monday, because I'm using links from there.
Eventually just give up. This is a trend that Temu is accelerating across the internet as a whole, where giant companies, bureaucracies, and dodgy vendors are able to rip off everyday regular small businesses, forcing them out of a job, or even worse, stopping them from doing what they love. But it can even damage their reputation. One such artist was selling her products on Etsy, and they went viral almost overnight, meaning she had no time to prepare when her print became a bestseller. Numerous sites would steal her art, and people began to accuse her of being a reseller of a Temu product. While she managed to get the listing she
that is fucked. Nah.
Knew about taken down, the whole experience put such a sour taste in her mouth that she just completely stopped selling her art. A small independent artist crushed by a giant faceless corporation, milking every single person dry. All in Temu's giant effort that is sweeping across the entire internet to try and undercut their competition no matter what. As explained earlier, the executives at Temu will do anything to maintain the platform's presence in America. They have money and don't care how much they have to burn to stay at the top, and it does seem to be working. They're now seen as one of the biggest threats to Amazon's giant monopoly. Amazon has spent decades building itself up as the #1 e-commerce store in the world. It had all the products you could dream of and offered the bonus of getting them to you as quickly as possible. However, Temu has proved that people will always go for a bargain no matter the other costs, and don't care how long they have to wait if it means they can save just a few bucks. A Deutsche Bank survey of American consumers found that nearly a third of participants would rather shop at Temu than Amazon or Walmart, simply because it offers a plethora of different products at crazy prices. Plus, they offer free shipping no matter how much you've got in your cart. The platform has started to change the e-commerce landscape completely, and analysts are worried about Temu's impact on the American economy. There's already evidence that it is diminishing the sales of once successful online platforms. People like Steve Chow, who owned Bumblebee Linens, reported a nearly 50% decrease in sales because of sites like Temu. But squeezing out individuals and small businesses isn't the only way Temu is going to damage society. It's yet another example of a modern company and business model that pushes the world further into decadence and vice. The impulses it satisfies and the way it does this is a massive weight on the world. As the company grows, it's only going to do more damage. Just look at how it's going to make its profit. Other new tech companies like DoorDash, for example, make the most money off of their most addicted users. They're most interested in the people who lack either the means or the willpower to buy and cook their food. These users are known as the whales, the most profitable people for the company to target, because they can then extract the most profit off of these people. Companies often try to turn normal users into these people, maybe by giving a discount when someone ordered 5 times in 2 weeks. It builds up the habit and keeps people invested. Temu does this too, but in a lot of different ways. The little games you can play, or the promotion you can do for free Temu junk, it's all part of getting people addicted to the process. And by doing this, Temu is systemically creating hoarders and eroding people's willpower, while straining their wallets at the same time. It's promoting and profiting off of a vice of needless consumption and spending, gluttony, pushing more and more people into a lifelong habit. Meanwhile, on the other side of the supply chain, millions of workers are exploited and underpaid to keep these prices criminally low. It's a vicious cycle that's going to make billions for Temu and deal untold damage to society in the process.
Yeah.
IKEA suvine väljamüük on alanud. Erihinnaga tooted ootavad sind kuni 21. juulini nii e-poes kui ka kohapeal. IKEA.
Stalin's Great Purge. Maybe.
So it's commonly said that Windows is a form of spyware. But how bad is it really? And what is it really sending home? That's what we're going to learn. One of the things, I've seen a lot of videos that will simply show that Windows sends a lot of requests. But what they don't know, with a custom SSL certificate...
I need more Reaction Monday videos. Probably, yeah.
...installed on the VM, it is possible to actually find out what it is saying, not just that it is saying. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to see what actions in Windows trigger... Whoosh. Let's try out some of these anti-spying tools. So if you download O&O Shutup 10, which is one of the more popular ones that claims it can make Windows 10 not do this, let's see how well it works. And of course, you're going to have... There's different kinds of spying, and some of it you might be more okay with. Like small screen, for example, is quite, you know, that's going to send files it's never seen before.
I'm good. It's too nerdy.
Before its 4th season, The Boys was loved by all.
The Boys try to warn you. The Boys is a good series.
Audiences and critics. The dark comedy, gripping story, and excellent performances have cemented it as the next step for the superhero genre.
Holy f***.
I've seen all The Boys for now. But you know, fuck it, it's a movie.
That was diabolical!
But it's the cutting social commentary that really sets The Boys apart from other shows. With the release of the 4th season though, lots of fans have been tuning out and a healthy 75% audience score from the last season has dropped to just over 50%. So what has the show lost to get to this point, and can it recover before it gets worse? Well, let's analyze why The Boys was...
What? Recover from what? I liked everything by so far.
Such a good show to figure out what's been missing from the newest season.
Huh?
Going into its 4th season, The Boys has blown all of its competitors out of the water. The show's dark comedy, gripping story, and excellent performances have cemented it as the next step for the superhero genre. But it's the cutting social commentary that really sets The Boys apart from other shows. By shining a UV lamp on society's embarrassing stains, the show has proven to be some of the best satirical TV ever made. From the power of monolithic corporations to the toxic culture of celebrity worship, let's dive in and find out what The Boys try to warn us about. The Boys makes it clear exactly what the show is going to be about in its very first scene. Right after a superhero we've come to know as Homelander melts a man's arm off and throws another 50 feet, he...
Yeah,
I
crazy.
need to find the best way to learn math and science.
It's brilliant.org.
Casually pauses to take a selfie with some adoring fans. Right away, it's clear that The Boys takes place in a universe where violence is everything, right alongside the mundane parts of modern life that we can recognize ourselves. In this world, our heroes aren't very heroic at all. They're a group of vigilantes and misfits trying to do their best to take revenge and level the playing field against everyone with superpowers. The villains, on the other hand, are mostly the heroes themselves. Superpowered individuals...
Yeah, what I've realized as well, there are no villains. There are no villains in there. Like, heroes are the villains. That's insane.
Known as supes. Without superpowered threats or world-ending monsters to fight, they spend their time selling products and appearing in their own Marvel-esque movies. The ones with the real power, on the other hand, are Vought, the mega corporation that controls their lives.
The Nazi girl was crazy though.
Signs their paychecks and sweeps the soup's crimes under the rug. Our main character is Huey, the unpresuming everyman who gets thrust into the world of the show and acts as a point of entry for the audience. When a superhero turns his girlfriend into a fine red mist, Huey seeks retribution and gets involved with the rest of the boys. But within the space of just a few episodes, he's blackmailed people, electrocuted people, and even blown a soup up from the inside out. But despite how graphic and effective those scenes are, the most important part of the first few episodes is actually a scene that can fly right past the audience if they weren't paying attention. When Huey's first getting recruited by Butcher, the leader of the boys, he asks how soups can be so violent without the world caring, or even paying them any attention. And this is what Butcher says in response.
Ain't it obvious?
Movie tickets, merchandising, theme parks, video games, a multi-billion-dollar global industry supported by corporate lobbyists and politicians on both sides. But the main reason that you won't hear about it is because the public don't want to know about it.
The root of the violence that destroyed Huey and his girlfriend's
Capitalism,
lives
yeah.
isn't the superheroes themselves, it's the corporation that protects them and holds the real power
Money.
over society. This is part of what The Boys does so well. It doesn't just show you hard, visceral violence and brute strength, even though it does do that very well. This speech from Butcher sets this all up and introduces the audience to how the real villains of the story operate, by using soft power. And as we'll find out, the executives of Vought aren't superpowered at all. Pretty much any of the heroes on their payroll could easily overpower them. Instead, they control the world using influence and information. If you gave people in real life superpowers and immense strength, it wouldn't be long before there were some unfortunate tragic accidents. Vought knows this very well, and exploits it as much as they can. By cleaning up after the superheroes, they get leverage over them. They can't rebel against the company or spread any of their secrets. If they do, then their dirty secrets will be revealed as well. It's this mutually assured destruction that keeps Vought in control. In the real world, the people in power use exactly the same tactics. People who know enough to be dangerous don't get to that position in society without being implicated as well. No one person who would want to talk has enough control over the narrative to get their message out. If they try, then they'll either be silenced and forgotten about, or have their own secrets released. AI is the real superhero, capable of transforming your black. Our team of technicians, whether any analysis worth one of link for free. As for the public, The Boys shows how corporations control them in exactly the same way they do in our world. Whilst Vought might stand in for any number of different companies on the show, the general idea is the same. All of the movies, the merchandise, and even the news are tools of control for Vought. By controlling the narrative and offering people enough distractions, they're happy to let anything happen behind the scenes. As long as they don't have to think about it, it doesn't matter. Manipulation and coercion are at the heart of The Boys, and it's only by playing this game that the boys have a chance over their superpowered opponents. Early on in the first series, we see our protagonists use out-of-the-box thinking and diabolical schemes to take out their enemies. In the comics that the show is actually based on, this formula makes up a lot of the plot and the action. But as the show progresses, the boys mostly get their work done through blackmail, bribery, and secret deals. It might feel like a shame that we don't see more cool ways to kill Supes, but the alternative lets the show really get into the deeper mechanisms that drive our modern world. As the first season goes on, the show starts to
Didn't know there was a comic made before The Boys. That's interesting.
settle into a general formula. The boys slowly make their way through the world of Vought and superheroes, exploiting the Supes' dirty secrets to uncover the conspiracy one puzzle piece at a time. Meanwhile, we slowly learn about the mystery they've been trying to uncover, a substance called Compound V. You see, instead of being born with superpowers, which is the story Vought tells the public, superheroes are actually made by giving Compound V to babies and small children. As the boys learn this and try to get it out to the public, Vought pushes forward with their plans of
Was one where the Black Panther was a copy of Homelander. Wait, what?
control. If they can get their superheroes into the military, then it'll break down the last barrier to their control of the entire government. But despite their progress with this, Vaught's control begins to slip when it comes to their own heroes. Homelander is the best example. At first, his psychopathic outbursts and violent tendencies are kept in check by his relationship with one of Vaught's top executives, Madeline Stillwell. Having been brought up in a lab and treated like a test subject, Homelander is desperate for some kind of connection. Madeline exploits this, acting like the mother he never had whilst lying to him about his past. In the finale, when Butcher threatens her life to try and get revenge on Homelander, it happens to coincide with his revelation about her lies. He kills her in front of him, just to prove he's beyond that weakness. Their relationship shows the limits to Vaught's control, as well as what their methods can lead to. Stillwell's control over Homelander only lasted as long as she could keep stringing him along. She dies when she finally reaches the end of her tether and tells Homelander the truth, that she's terrified of him. And once the lies run out, her soft power is gone and she has no defenses left. This reversal foreshadows the later seasons when Homelander tries to turn the tables on the rest of Vought. But this isn't the only way that the boys explore the tactics and intricacies of corporate power. They satirize the language and jargon they use all the time. Characters like Ashley rarely say anything without it. Corporate language is all about appearances, working the same way that Orwell's doublespeak does. A corporate sentence is always meant to sound positive, whilst poorly hiding the true meaning of what the person's actually saying. Laying people off becomes
If you don't fear Homelander, you're pretty good and strong. What? I don't think so. If you don't fear him, he's still gonna kill you though.
Downsizing, for example, we've all heard it used before. It's through this jargon that the boys satirizes the way corporations hide their intentions. They're more than happy to do anything for appearances. Vought happily broadcast their support of any number of different causes. They use them to make themselves look better, whilst doing nothing to actually support them. In The Boys,
who knows, he can intimidate. I don't know.
at first Vought wants to cover up Deep's assault of Starlight. They want to protect their investment and their brand name, and therefore their bottom line. But when the Deep turns into a liability and they don't need him anymore, they do a complete 180 and pretend they've been supporting Starlight this entire time. Then there's the later treatment of A-Train's identity change and the parody of the Pepsi commercial. Or there's the awful way they profit from Maeve's private life being revealed to the world. Corporations do this all the time in real life. Disney's happy to broadcast the support of the LGBT community, but only do so when it's profitable. In regions like Russia or the Middle East, they don't have the same cultural acceptance as the West, and so of course they'll always censor these parts out of their movies. Same with the whole Hollywood industry in China. Anything that goes against the CCP's propaganda is scrubbed. These strategies are extensions of the wider corporate view of seeing everything and everyone as a product, equivalent to numbers on a spreadsheet. Token minorities are used like chess pieces ready to implicitly defend the company against any accusations of wrongdoing, all while softening their image. They help conceal the hard truth behind it all that the corporate world tries so desperately to hide. Money is the only thing that matters, and all the evils can be justified if they raise the bottom line. In The Boys, this hard edge is most apparent in the character of Stan Edgar. At first he's rarely seen in the show, but as time goes on it becomes clear he's the one who's really pulling the strings. Most of the time, Stan is a master of corporate doublespeak. His well-placed words hide his intentions and give nothing away, whilst affirming his own position of control. But sometimes when speaking to like-minded people, the facade slips and we see the cold calculus behind his decisions. In a conversation between Stan Edgar and Butcher later in season 2, Butcher questions some of his decisions as things he must have hated doing. Butcher asks him if it's just business, and Stan replies, when in history has it ever been anything different?
Companies should have the limit. You can't have more than $1 million income. This will be given to government. Wait, that's actually true. Yeah, there should be a limit, and everything else gets to like donated for a good cause or something. Yeah.
So it's just business then, eh? When, Mr. Butcher, in history, has it ever been about anything different?
With Madeline out of the picture, it would seem like Homelander is free to do as he pleases, but instead Stan Edgar begins to assert his own control over him and the rest of the Supes. This all culminates in a scene where Homelander, sick of being under Vaught's thumb, barges into Stan's office and threatens to quit. At first he uses the same techniques that he always uses to toy with people who are too scared to challenge him. Homelander reaches the height of his aggression and feels the most powerful when he reminds Stan how much his brand and image are worth to the company. This is where the power dynamic shifts. Homelander's ranting threats don't land, and Stan calmly explains to him just how things really are.
They can't have more than $1 million income. The only shit they will control is one city. I don't even think, probably even less than a whole city. But yeah. Cause it's like, yeah, bro, BlackRock just wants more and more and more. Yeah, that's scary.
As Stan slowly takes apart Homelander's delusions about his importance, his body language tells the whole story. Homelander starts out as confident, sitting down and resting his feet on the table, but as Stan goes on and puts the pressure back on Homelander, he slowly shrinks back into his chair like a child getting told off by a teacher. When Homelander tries a last-ditch attempt to threaten Stan physically, it seals the deal. He knows because he can quite literally see his slow, steady heartbeats, showing that Dan just isn't afraid of him at all. Then Stan dismisses him with a jab, and Homelander is forced to take it. He swallows his rage and leaves, thoroughly outmatched. There's a whole lot of different layers to the scene. It's one of the most important in the series. Homelander, having killed his maternal figure, is left to deal with the hard, almost parental discipline of Stan. Over the rest of the season, we will slowly see Homelander recover from this blow and begin his rebellion against Stan's authority. But maybe more importantly, it shows the difference between Homelander's brute strength and Stan's more sophisticated, deeper power over him. Much later on, Homelander finally takes control over Vought, but it won't be through his own strength. Instead, it comes from the same same backstabbing games of power that define the corporate world. The rest of Season 2 lays the groundwork for Homelander's ascension to power. In the finale to Season 1, we find out that Butcher's wife, who we thought was killed by Homelander, is actually alive. She's hidden by Vought because she gave birth to Homelander's son, a boy named Ryan, who is the first naturally born superhero in the world, and they've been quietly living alone underground. The game of cat and mouse over who can control Ryan takes up the majority of the plot, but an important part of the story which mostly happens in the background is the next part of the story of how Vought and corporations manipulate the people.
Ryan is asshole? Nah, Ryan is asshole because of Homelander. If Ryan was raised by Butcher, I think Ryan would not be an asshole.
Reminds Homelander he's a product to put him in his place.
You are simply bad product.
But his status as a brand also gives him a different kind of power.
Ass. Okay.
Vaught's use of their heroes satirizes the current culture of celebrity worship in our world. They cover up their mistakes and they constantly portray these heroes as people who can do nothing wrong. Pretty much every soup we see is a murderer, but none of them are ever given a real
Imagine drinking.
Punishment for it. It's an exaggerated version of how celebrities nearly always get away with their crimes, from hard drug use and drunk driving all the way to murder. But it goes deeper than this. The celebrity worship combined with the corporate jargon and Vaught's control over the narrative has pushed culture into a world where the truth doesn't matter anymore. In the world of the boys and in our own world, the divisions in society express as two separate narratives. In our world, they're based on the divide in politics. In the boys, they revolve around how society should treat soups. Homelander, because of his celebrity status, is able to take control of one side of this narrative. The way he's been used like a chess piece and moved around the board has given him a certain amount of power over the game, which he can now exploit to his own advantage. In a lot of ways, Homelander is used as a satirical version of Trump. The analogy doesn't always fit, but it's definitely present in this way.
The Trump and Biden debate happened, and it was a disaster. Oh no.
At first, the left-wing media used Trump for their own aims, treating him like a joke and fitting their programming with Trump content, because it gave them such good ratings. Over time, as he became more of a villain in their eyes than a clown, he still dominated the news cycle and late-night talk shows. Season 3 of The Boys takes a different turn, however. Much of it focuses on the Soldier Boy story arc and his ability to potentially kill Homelander. But in the background, behind the Frenchie plotlines and the superpowered fights, the social commentary progresses as well. A lot of this is accomplished through the often unnoticed excellent world building. Every scene is overflowing with details relating to Vaught's control over the world. Most shows that have news on in the background or they use it to convey context just do something generic. In The Boys, Vaught's own news network and pundits are almost a separate character. They have so much thought put into them. Small scenes like the tragic story of the radicalized loner from Season 2 flesh out the world and show the clear consequences of this. And it's in this way that The Boys explores the results of completely fabricated narratives dominating culture. All of the lies and the corporate doublespeak that lay the foundation for societal division. Season 3 shows this happening with Homelander. He stops trying to appeal to everyone, instead choosing to focus on the small part of the population who still believe his lies. It begins with Homelander's birthday speech, which starts as an emotional outburst.
I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter.
That's crazy, yeah.
I'm better.
But as he sees the results and his skyrocketing popularity, it becomes a strategy instead. You can see this progression in how The Boys depicts protesters in crowds. In Season 1, in the infamous scene where Homelander imagines lasering the crowd, all of the people are dressed normally. They're just regular people and you have no idea what they support until you read the signs. By the end of Season 3, the battle lines have been drawn and they've started wearing their own color-coded uniforms. It's a great satire for the bitter divisions we see in our own world. By creating a black and white view of politics as a struggle between good and evil, corporations and the media created this tension. It leaves the door open to radical, self-serving politicians who only care about serving their own needs. A lot of this satire is aimed squarely at the right wing, with Trump getting replaced by a homicidal maniac. But even though The Boys isn't subtle, it's still incredibly nuanced underneath it all. Victoria Newman, the equivalent of AOC, is a completely self-serving murderer trying to exploit their own base for political gain. Neither Newman nor Homelander actually care about the people who support them, of course. They're a tool to be used to play the game at the top. In fact, they're the most powerful tool that Homelander ever gets. It's only through using his own fans and making backroom deals that he eventually beats Stan Edgar at his own game. In fact, the entire establishment is shown as getting taken surprise by this. They created the conditions in society to further their own exploitation of the world, but they weren't prepared for someone else to use it far more effectively than they ever could. Both Stan and the mainstream politicians we see nearly always lose in the end, although hopefully we haven't seen the last of Stan Edgar. His departure from the show makes just one of the lots of small different things that have been turning fans off.
But there's no denying that season 4 absolutely fell off a cliff. Good lord, I don't think I've seen a fan base turn so hard on any show since Game of Thrones. Look through the reviews and you'll see page after page of absolutely brutal write-ups, all saying
I still like the 4th season. It wasn't that bad. What?
And basically the
Nice try. I like the 4th season, but
same thing. The general consensus is that the show seems to have sacrificed writing quality and smart characterization in favor of simplistic shock value and cheap political point scoring.
In a previous video, we talked about how Marvel was losing its audience to shows like The Boys because they were avoiding the mistakes that Disney was making. But with the newest Disney season, this has been less and less true. A lot of the problems revolve around the show replaying the same tropes and jokes it's made before, without much of a change in the actual content. Some of the new characters like Firecracker seem very familiar to other antagonists from previous seasons. As the season progresses, hopefully we'll see something new from her conflict with Starlight. Others seem redundant, only filling up time with new plots that feel tired compared to previous seasons. Huey's mum's sudden appearance, for example, has seemed particularly shoehorned in, and the show's treatment of her abandonment of Huey has raised some eyebrows. Then there's the elephant in the room, the Frenchie arc they're currently exploring. A small amount of the reviews can be attributed to his kissing, but it's the meaning behind it and his overall story arc in this season that's the real problem. First, his actions seem out of character for what we know. Considering his past with his new character, it's insane the story ever got past one scene. His new relationship also throws away lots of the development they did in the previous seasons, giving new fans nothing in return. We don't care about the new character because we don't know anything about them. The scenes with them often just feel like filler. Before, Frenchie was an offbeat take on the techie character constantly inventing new ingenious ways to solve problems. Some of his best scenes are earlier on in the show, where we see these talents put into use against Translucent. It's this kind of lazy writing that sank Marvel, but if you can get past it, it hasn't impacted the core of the show. While the social commentary has taken a hit recently, there's still something there to be appreciated, far more than in most modern shows. Then there's Anthony Starr's performance of Homelander, which deserves every award going. The 4th episode of the season is a masterclass. The tension and the horror his performance evokes, with just a hint of sympathy added in, is what makes this show so great. So if The Boys can recover from this rocky start and drop lots of the filler, it could still regain the audience it lost. Whether this will actually happen though, or if the writers will go further into tired tropes, remains to be seen. By the way, don't forget to register for the free.
I guess a little bit fell off. I feel like it's not that bad, but
It's no secret that Hollywood is full of predators, but how did these awful people create a world where their crimes could go unnoticed and unpunished? The answer lies in the stories of the victims and how their lives were changed by Hollywood's predatory culture. So let's start by unpacking the story of Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, as they serve as a cautionary tale of how pervasive predatory behavior truly is in the Hollywood elites. Corey Feldman was born on July 16, 1971. He was a
I don't think I ever heard of him.
child actor who was made to shine.
Victims of Hollywood.
Starring in some of the world's most remembered movies like The Goonies and The Lost Boys. However, this came at a cost that also affected his best friend Corey Haim, where they both escaped the horrific reality of being a child actor in Hollywood through drug addiction. While it may have seemed like Corey Feldman had it all, there was a world of experiences that he was missing out on. Being a child actor robbed him of simple joys like just playing baseball or attending a regular school. Corey's life was a constant act, a role he had to play from the beginning of his life. His career began with appearing in over 100 advertisements until his breakthrough at the age of just 9 years old, when he began starring in movies like Friday 13th. He would continue with smaller roles until he starred in Goonies. This would launch his career into movies such as Stand By Me and The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys also brought a new friendship that would last for over 20 years. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman would meet and quickly become best friends. They worked so well together that they starred in the same movies. In total, they were in all 9 movies together. Their faces would be on posters. famous, and wherever the two went, the crowds would go crazy. Along with this newfound fame came financial responsibility, which Corey Feldman's parents handled. However, soon, he would be the only breadwinner in the entire family. And as much as he was making, it seemed like Corey's parents were spending. Continued arguments with his father led to Corey divorcing his parents. In an interview, Corey explained that he had made around $1 million, and by the time he divorced his parents, he only had $40,000 left, which his father said was owed to him for the time lost on his normal job. By emancipating, Corey would gain financial freedom at just the age of
Nah, that's crazy cut.
15. It can be difficult to understand your family history, as plays makes building can help you. So too did careers picked up. So check it out today and learn more about your family with My Heritage. As their careers picked up, both the boys became the highest paid child actors of their time, and so too did the responsibilities of which Corey Feldman had no experience managing his money.
I had no idea how to be responsible for myself, but I've already got a group of vultures surrounding me, and 15-year-olds are not the best decision makers.
Right.
It didn't take long for Corey Haim's parents to also divorce, so both Corys felt a deep disappointment about their family life, which made them a lot closer. However, there was a dark secret both Corys were keeping that wouldn't come out until after the Harvey Weinstein allegations in 2017. You see, as they got older, lots of people would get confused about which Corey was Feldman or Haim, and this would ultimately work to their disadvantage.
Because you're so Gen Z. What? Yeah.
Later in the movie industry. They both decided to separate a bit to explore the movie industries on their own, but at this time, both were using a lot of drugs. Corey Feldman got married in 1989 to another actor by the name of Vanessa Marcil, but as Corey's drug problem got increasingly worse, he was forced into rehab, as he was spiraling out of control. However, the media really got to Corey as they were being quite malicious in their comments about this. As he was spiraling down to rock bottom, the media would do everything they could to kick him while he was down, and eventually completely decimate his reputation in the film industry.
In Hollywood, some actors struggle a lifetime for success and come up short. Others are superstars before they shave. Corey Feldman was, and for him, stardom spelled trouble with a capital T.
I was this all-American
Premium beds, they're chill.
teen idol that all these kids loved and listened to what I had to say, and all of a sudden I was this no-good junkie.
Once he'd completed rehab and was clean of drugs once and for all, he then tried to get his life back in order. But sadly, Corey and Vanessa were divorced in 1993, and as much as he wanted to pick up his career again, the damage was done. Corey had gone from being a child actor to a drug addict. Even though he'd cleaned the addiction, this label would now stick with him, and nobody wanted to be a part of it. So then Corey was forced to find roles in movies that were really not the top shelf as he once thrived in. And to make matters only worse, Corey Haim was still using drugs, and the two were always being mixed up together, which contributed to Corey not being hired because of the bad influence. Corey Feldman and Corey Haim's friendship still remained, but at the time it wasn't really as strong, especially with the other
Billionaires never started from 0 to 100. They all were gifted. The only true person they went from 0 to 100 is Mr. Beast. I mean, yeah, it sucks that most people who like get money are rich people. That makes sense. Or they just got lucky. Their dad or mom is a billionaire or some shit.
Corey's drug problem. Now, Corey Haim did try to get clean, and after seeking help from a doctor, he managed to stop using street drugs, but then just got addicted to pharmaceutical drugs that were prescribed to him. In some interviews, he was not even coherent, and this too would play havoc in his life.
Going out of business and getting out what I can,
It wasn't until Corey Feldman stepped in to help Corey Haim that he could actually change his life for the better. Corey Feldman would make a 4-day documentary video of Corey Haim for when he woke up to his drug-infested state later in the day. After showing Corey Haim the video, it was an eye-opener. Corey Haim actually cried for days because of it, but it was what was needed to make him get completely clean again and back to the man he used to be. So Corey Haim returned to Canada to get used to his life in a normal setting, leaving all the bad connections he had behind in Hollywood. Corey Feldman still had a passion and wanted to pursue the movie industry. Corey also got married again and had a son, Zen, with his wife, Susan. Although the two Corey's lives were separate, they would pick up where they left off soon, as they would quickly get back together again. Still close as brothers, they would finally address deep and dark secrets that would explain the drug abuse, and the real truth behind Hollywood. Both Corys would star in a reality show called The Two Corys, as both were now clean. They would talk about both of them being and sexually abused by men in the movie industry.
You want to talk about the truth? Okay, well then let's talk about the truth. I was being molested at the same time by somebody else. What'd you do?
an all too common problem with the psychopathic executives. This conversation would initially be more aggressive than anticipated, and ended up in a 6-month standoff as the subject obviously opened up old wounds. However, off-screen, the two would reconcile and further discuss their childhood trauma. However, sadly, Corey Haim would pass away from pneumonia in 2010, 7 years before the Weinstein allegations came up and people realized just how disturbing Hollywood truly was. After his death, Corey Feldman felt like it was his duty to speak about the
Hollywood is where EDP is hiding as well as Mr. Disrespect. Opinion on thick black females? I love
problems with pedos in the movie industry.
If you believe there are active pedophiles hurting little boys right now.
Absolutely.
In Hollywood.
And believe me, I would love the pain to stop today.
He would take it further, trying to raise funds to do a documentary on the two Coreys' lives. However, he had to hold back a lot, as in the state of California, a person had 10 years to report
ass on top
such crimes.
Because in California, we're only allowed 10 years to report these crimes. And if you're a kid, and this happens to you at 12, 13, 14 years old, that means you have until you're 22, 23. Well,
and that 10-year window had now closed for Corey Feldman a long time ago. So to keep from being sued, he initially avoided dropping names. However, in his book Choreography, he would divulge a few names who would either or sexually abuse them both. Corey said that there were 2 attempts on his life, and that he was living in constant fear of what these men would do to him. These deep Hollywood secrets weren't meant to be exposed to the public, and to be fair, since he didn't have the law on his side, speaking out against Hollywood would put him and his family at deep risk. However, in 2020, the documentary would finally be released, but it was only available.
It's a risk to like call out a pedophile. That's insane.
For a very short time. There were 5 names who were ultimately revealed. Later, Corey dropped another allegation of Charlie Sheen being the man that raped Corey Haim at 13 years old on the set of Lucas. Although to be
like, how can you defend a pedophile?
clear, these are allegations from Corey, and it's not us saying that he actually did this. Susan Feldman and Jamison Newlander, who played Frog in The Lost Boys, both corroborated the claim. However, Corey Haim's mother denies this allegation and claims it was another man. Charlie Sheen also denied it, and nothing has been completely proven whatsoever. But the sad truth is, these 2 Coreys clearly were abused, which led to an escape through drugs, and this ultimately ended their once highly successful careers. From top childhood actors to washed up nobodies, no one should be exposed to this, and it must take a lot of guts to talk about something so traumatic. Corey has been accused of using this to make more money, but at the end of the day, what has he got to lose? Just because he's trying to help expose the problem in Hollywood at his own expense doesn't mean he can't try to cover the bills while doing so. He still has to make a living somehow. Corey's not the only one trying to bring attention to the growing problem in Hollywood. Their desperation and dedication speak for themselves, and no one would expose themselves in such a manner if there weren't something to it. As the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire. It's a tragedy that
defend a pedophile because they're too good to be taken away. How ones who got abused sexually are liars.
Hollywood has become such a haven for predators. The way the system has been set up for young people trying to join the industry has made it almost inevitable. All the power lies in the hands of a small group of executives, whose words and money completely dictate which movies get funded and which people get jobs. This dynamic turned each movie company into the personal kingdom of whoever holds the power and the connection to the money. Young people would come into the industry all the time, all searching for their big break. Whether they were assistants, actors, or anything else, everyone without connections had to start from the bottom, giving the elite predators the perfect opportunity to use that leverage and that hope for their own personal gain. You can easily imagine big names using their fame and power to get whatever they want out of young, impressionable people in the industry. It's happened countless times before, as we'll see later. Often, young people in show business can be going through deep personal problems as well, from family issues to financial stress to drug use. These factors also make them far more vulnerable, but predators can make a victim out of anyone. As we'll find out now. Brandon Frazier started his career in the early 1990s, with his first film Dogfight in 1991. This led to more movies, like Encino Man, otherwise known as California Man, and later School Ties. He played a variety of characters, and as an actor he quickly grew to fame with his role as the Mummy, one that took a more physical toll, but he was thriving. Brandon actually revealed that in The Mummy, in a scene where he is hanged, he was actually accidentally hanged, but was released very quickly. His strong physical form was paraded on George of the Jungle, and Brandon said he began
He was actually hanged is insane.
to feel sexualized. He saw himself as a piece of meat on the set, but of course this was completely ignored. During physically demanding roles, his body took a bad hit. In his dedication to delivering his best, Brandon used ice packing to cover bruising and swelling that ultimately did a bunch of damage to his body, eventually leading Brandon to turn down the sequel to George of the Jungle, as he just couldn't put his body through so much strain again. In his earlier days, Brandon projected an image of strength, confidence, and a quirky, fun-loving persona through his films and interviews. However, a recent interview unveiled a contrasting aspect of Brandon's character, which surprisingly garnered even more support from his fans. During this interview, Brandon revealed a nervous demeanor and became visibly emotional when discussing his upcoming role in the film The Whale.
With Scorsese and Leo and Bob De Niro.
Yes, I saw. Congratulations. That's so
Thank
exciting.
you. I think I might be sick. A little anxious.
Oh no.
I mean, it's going to be fun.
You got this.
What?
You got this.
Got it.
Just
The question lingered, how did Brandon Fraser transition from a confident and jovial figure to someone plagued by self-doubt, who seemed to be his polar opposite? It appeared to be a significant transformation, prompting curiosity amongst many. But there is one explanation. You see, in 2003, Brandon attended an event by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the same organization that hosts the Golden Globes. Philip Burke, the then president of the association, called Brandon over in a crowded room. Brandon thought that Burke was reaching out to give him a handshake, but what would happen next would break Brandon's confidence and career for the next 15 years. Burke's left hand reached around and grabbed his ass cheek, and one of his fingers touched him in the taint. Brandon reacted in panic and fear as he moved Burke's hand away. It was a horrifying moment, and the fact that he had to remove Burke's hand away tells a tale of highly inappropriate behavior in Hollywood. This predatory behavior is all too common within the industry, and with this sexualization of Brandon, and then this final act happening, it made Brandon feel physically sick from Hollywood like he was a little kid. He went home and told his wife about the incident, and they came to the decision that Brandon would need an immediate apology. And while Beck did give him one, he refused to ever admit that he did anything wrong. Beck wrote it off as more of a gesture than an assault. The association told Brandon that they would never allow Burke to be in the same room as Brandon ever again, but this seemed like a band-aid over a gaping wound, and a sign of much darker things happening within the Hollywood industry. Brandon had to accept it for what it was, and this sent him into
the Hollywood, that's the American dream,
depression.
Kinda.
He questioned if he deserved it and wondered if he was overreacting, but the effects of this incident was slowly and surely stripping him of his confidence. Around this time, the movie offers stopped coming in. This incident and the association it had with Brandon just wasn't good marketing for the movies. Plus, the powers that be now saw Brandon as a threat, which made Brandon wonder if he was ever actually blacklisted as a result of addressing this assault. Brandon was also dealing with serious health issues at this time. He had to go for surgery on his knee, which was actually a partial knee replacement, which meant he would need the partial removal of vertebrae bone in addition to vocal cord surgery. These all happened over a period of 7 years. However, recovering from these surgeries also made Brandon gain a bunch of weight. And as his life started crumbling around him, the money started drying up, his health deteriorating. Brandon also found his relationship deteriorating, with him and his wife shortly divorcing afterwards. The media then plastered photos of Brandon in the most unflattering manner, body shaming Brandon at the worst possible time in his life. And with the financial struggles, he also had to pay $900,000 in alimony and child support a year. He appealed to get the amount reduced in court for the alimony month payments, but his ex-wife, Afton Smith, retaliated with accusations of fraud. She said that Brandon was hiding $900,000 in film contracts. It seemed that as hard as he was trying to make a comeback in the film industry to make money, he was also barely keeping above float. He was being financially crippled, and the courts ruled against Brandon's request and against any fraud accusations. But it was clear Brandon was screwed, and it took over a decade for Brandon to finally summon the bravery to share his experiences, which were influenced by the Me Too movement. During an interview with GQ, he recounted his journey, and since then he has openly discussed it whenever prompted. Despite enduring numerous setbacks over the span of a decade, he experienced a turning point upon securing the role in The Whale. For the film, he dedicated himself wholeheartedly to the portrayal, even collaborating with the Obesity Action Coalition to ensure authenticity. Ultimately, it was such a good performance, he earned himself an Academy Award for Best Actor. And finally, following his tumultuous journey, both fans and fellow actors.
I should probably watch The Whale. I don't know. Never watched it.
Has celebrated his well-deserved accomplishment. Brendan Fraser reigniting his own career isn't a feat that many others have pulled off though. It's a feat that he only managed through sheer will and his own pool of bottomless charisma. A large reason for this is the culture of silence and retribution against all of those who speak out. If you do say something about someone powerful, there will be consequences. Using their connections in the industry and their address book of private investigators and sleazy lawyers, predators will do anything to intimidate their victims. Having their career tanked is often only the start. If you speak out, people will dig through your history and your private life. They'll search for anything that could remotely implicate you in a scandal and damage the strength of your word. Often this is a last resort. Predators prefer the carrot to the stick, as it completely neutralizes the problem. For them. Often victims are eventually bought out and forced to sign an NDA for their meager compensation.
Wow.
It completely blocks them from ever getting justice later down the line. Remember that these deals often happen shortly after the incident occurs, when the victim is often still ensnared in the predator's clutches. If you could coerce or intimidate them into being a victim in one way, it stands to reason they could get them to sign with the same tactics. It's these methods that were behind the silencing of the next person on our list, Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields started her career as a model at the tender age of just 11 months old. Brooke Shields started her career as a model at the
As a model? I'm sorry, what? No disrespect. If she can be a model, I can be a model. Like what?
the tender age of just 11 months old. Her mother put her on a soap advertisement, and this led to the next and the next, and the snowball effect started. Brooke's parents divorced when she was only 5 months old. Her mother Terry became her manager and made all the decisions for her daughter, just as a guardian should. However, Terry seemed to have no boundaries if it meant financial gain. At the age of 10, Brooke posed nude for Playboy, which Terry was called
What?
Financial gain. At the age of 10, Brooke posed nude for Playboy,
Oh no. What is Playboy doing? What?
which Terry was called out on in 1977 by New York Magazine.
You yourself have said, and I quote,
That's
ever since
insane.
Brooke was a baby, she's been encouraged to be sensual. So, can't someone say to you that you are exploiting the sensuality of a child?
Well, if that's all I was doing, probably yes.
The caption read, "Meet Terry and Brooke Shields," and then addressed it in one fell swoop with Brooke is
The cover literally has... No, that's insane. What?
12. She poses nude, and Terry is her mother, and she thinks it's swell. In fact, when
That's insane cover. What the fuck?
interviewed now in her 50s, Brooke was asked if she would let her own children pose nude and instantly said no. Her daughters even pointed out that it was not right.
Are you nude? I'm nude twice. With my little 11-year-old body.
That's weird.
This also made her question why her mother would think it was okay. As most mothers would be apologetic and learn from this, it seemed that Terry missed her moment. If anything, Brooke was then signed up for an acting role in 1978 as a child prostitute in a movie called Pretty Baby. Brooke remembers this as one of her greatest achievements.
Those are two words that should not be even together at all. That's insane.
It's the one I'm the most proud of.
Bro,
It says that it was
what?
probably more awkward for her fellow male actor who had to kiss her. She did have nude scenes in the movie as well. She reflects on her role in the movie as a form of artwork.
It was probably the only truly beautiful artistic film that I, to this day, feel like I've ever even been in.
However, what followed was some serious allegations that she was involved in child pee, and the public was very concerned about what Brooke was being exposed to at such a young age. In 1980, Brooke got the lead role in Blue Lagoon, and again was exposed to a more uncomfortable screen where her character experienced her first period in a lagoon. At the time, it was a big stretch to act this out, as such a subject was hardly ever spoken about. The movie itself was well received. While Brooke continued to make a name for herself in a variety of movies, behind the scenes she was battling to get her mother sober. Terry's drinking habits had become very problematic, and Brooke found herself doing her first intervention at just 13 years old. Having been objectified from a tender age, Brooke steadfastly refused to let it shape her identity. Nonetheless, it's
You mean adult film? What is adult pill?
conceivable that this early exposure played a role in an incident that occurred when she was just 20 years old. Brooke encountered an unnamed male executive within the Hollywood industry and accepted an invitation to dine with him at a hotel, hoping that it might lead to a professional opportunity. At the time, she had recently completed her studies and was in need of employment. After dinner, he suggested that she go with him to his room to call a taxi. However, once in the room, she disappeared for a few moments, and on return, he was naked. Brooke said no and thought that would be enough to make her stance as clear as day. However, Brooke was ignored as he forced himself on her. Brooke then went into survival mode and froze, as she thought stay alive and get out, which is exactly what she did. Her intention was to immediately block this out and never speak about it again. Brooke chose to remain silent about her experience out of concern that revealing it could jeopardize her career. Reflecting on those times, she believed that speaking out would not have been beneficial, but rather it would have harmed her prospects, and so she carried on as if nothing had happened, and this is far too common in
Oh, you made that up. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
In Hollywood as a whole. Brooke eventually had to reach out for counseling, as this trauma was eating her away, and after years of grappling with the emotional aftermath, she eventually opened up about it in March 2023. Although she didn't disclose the identity of the perpetrator, she addressed the issue in her Hulu documentary titled Pretty Baby, which explores the sexualization of women. Ever since, she's had a fulfilling family life alongside a flourishing career, gaining a bunch of accomplishments along the way. She's been on shows like Friends, and headlined her own sitcom titled Suddenly Susan, but she was yet another huge victim of how predatory Hollywood is becoming. When all of these stories started coming out over the past decade, many people were astonished by the scale and the sheer number of complaints and accusations. It paints the picture of an industry choking on its own corruption and sleaze. People knew Hollywood was dirty, but they didn't know how
ei tunne piire. Vali nädala kingitus veebipoest makeup.ee.
I need to find the best way to learn math and science.
It's brilliant.org.
Whoa. How dirty it truly was. How could so many predators go undetected by the general public? How could they dominate the industry, having their crimes hidden from the view for decades in some cases? The answer is the culture of silence that turned pretty much everyone that might have helped into a bystander. In the same way that the victims themselves were encouraged to keep quiet, everyone else in the know feared the same kinds of reprisals. Bullying and the putting down of underlings was the norm for years and years. People describe executives we now know as predators forcing their employees to humiliate themselves for the smallest mistakes. Speaking up in a world like this might have been seen as useless by the majority of people in the industry. Their opinions and their objections already meant nothing. They felt powerless. It was only the momentum of so many allegations coming out that finally
continent. So it's the whole North and South America.
Only burst the predator bubble. Even
I guess. We know the shit and nothing done. Human trafficking can make billions in 1 year. No, didn't know that. But yeah, if you got money, it doesn't matter how bad you are.
Now, though, we still don't know the true extent of the problem. These people who were in power had connections to every level of society. Harvey Weinstein was a good friend of multiple presidents before his downfall. We all hope we do different if we witness these injustices ourselves, but it takes truly strong people to finally break the culture of silence. Drake Bell was raised in Newport, California. When he was just 5 years old, his parents were divorced. Drake's father, Joe Bell, encouraged him to try acting, landing his first acting gig in a Whirlpool ad. Drake quickly fell in love with the profession and wanted to pursue more acting opportunities. His father and mother were not on good terms, but his father would become his manager, and his mother supported Drake in becoming an actor. In 1994, it didn't take long for Drake to land his first television series role in Home Improvements. This would open the door to other small roles, which ultimately led him down the path to a Disney sitcom called Drake and Josh in 2004. By the age of 24, he was becoming famous around the world, and around a year after landing the Drake and Josh role, he would independently release his first album. The album featured songs written only by Drake himself, with the exception of one song.
President of California is trying to run for President of America. Bro will spread the California virus.
These songs came from the show, and so his claim to fame would develop not only in acting but also in singing. But getting to this point wasn't as easy as it sounded, and it came with many dark and disturbing things within the Hollywood industry. You see, in 1999, Drake acted in The Amanda Show, and this put him in the same room as a man called Brian Peck. Although at the time it seemed so innocent, Brian took an interest in Drake. Now, Drake's dad had begun to notice Brian's behavior towards his son, which made him feel very uncomfortable.
Just touch Drake. You know, do things that, wait a second, what are you doing? Drake can put that on himself.
He was the manager, the one responsible for getting Drake Bell within the industry. And now, industry elites were revealing their dark side. And so as any good father would, he took his concerns to the producers. And the producer told him that Brian Peck was gay and suggested that it was possible that Joe was homophobic and might be misinterpreting his demeanor. A classic Hollywood response. However, Joe would also notice that Brian would physically pat Drake's back or stroke his arm. It just seems so inappropriate. He even picked up the same mannerisms towards Leonardo DiCaprio with Brian Peck, and still felt that this was not right at all. Deep down in his gut, he knew there was something very bad happening. Now, Brian Peck did not like Drake's father at all, especially because Joe was on set all the time, and so Joe was always keeping his eye on Brian, making sure his son was okay. So Brian began manipulating Drake, grooming him against his father with comments that his father shouldn't be his manager.
I think Brian got a sense that my dad was on the watch, and so he started to really drive a wedge between my dad and me.
And that having his father on set was damaging his acting career. He would do everything he could to manipulate Drake Bell. He even went as far as hiring an attorney to find evidence that Joe was abusing Drake's money. However, this only proved that Joe was not abusing his money. So Brian, knowing that Drake's parents were not on good terms, told Drake's mother that Joe was damaging his career. And that was when Joe would receive a call from his ex-wife, who informed him that Drake no longer wanted his father as his manager anymore. Drake's only source of protection within the Hollywood industry had now been removed, and this opened the door for Brian to do whatever he wanted. Brian would seek to have Drake's birthday at his house. His father again opposed the idea, but Drake didn't think it was odd at all. Then one day, Drake was sleeping on a couch and woke up to Brian performing sexual acts on him. While Drake couldn't bring himself to go into detail in an interview, he did say to think of the worst thing that could happen, and that is what happened.
Why don't you think of the worst stuff that someone can do to somebody as a sexual assault, and that'll answer your question.
Later, in another interview, he told the reporter that Brian had a picture that was signed by a notorious serial killer, John Wayne Gacy.
He had letters in his bedside table. He was a pen pal with John Wayne Gacy.
You had him sign the painting, right? On the back?
It said, "From your good friend, John Wayne Gacy," on the back of this painting. And things are happening to me in a room where there's a painting by one of the most prolific serial killers who preyed on young boys, staring at me. So now that puts into my mind, how far is this really gonna go?
While Drake was on the Drake and Josh show, Brian wanted to be the father on the show, which Drake heavily opposed after all he had just been subjected to. Brian had made plans with Drake to go to Disneyland, but Drake had no intentions of going. Drake instead went to his girlfriend's house and tried to ignore the continuous calls from Brian. Brian actually went as far as calling Drake's girlfriend's house. When her mother answered and called Drake, Drake told Brian that he had forgotten and made double plans. But Brian was angry and kept on calling. At this point, Drake's girlfriend's mother called Drake aside.
She shuts the door behind me, so so it's just the two of us.
Like, how are you so down bad?
I go, "Oh yeah, Brian, we had plans." She goes, No. A 40-something-year-old man does not call my daughter's boyfriend like that. She took matters into her own hands. She called my mom. She's like, "I'm taking Drake to see our therapist tomorrow because something is going on."
And her concerns were almost life-saving, and it was to Drake's benefit that she picked this up as quickly as she did. After some time, Drake broke his silence whilst on a call to his mother, Robin. For whatever reason, he had reached his breaking point and ended up shouting and screaming about what had happened. The police were called and Drake had to relay every detail of Brian's indiscretions to the police. The police asked Drake to call Brian and tried to get him to confess whilst being recorded. Drake called Brian and told him that he was battling with what had happened, and Brian confessed, all the while saying he hoped he was not being recorded. Brian was finally arrested. Drake called his father and told him that Brian had been arrested for sexual assault, while Joe told him that he
can't be used as a weapon.
He knew it and was so grateful that Brian was now out of the picture. He didn't know that it was his son who was the reason behind the arrest. And once he found that out, it completely broke his father's heart. With Joe saying to this day it still deeply affects him, as it would with any parent. And to add insult to injury, when Drake appeared in court, he was shocked to see so many supporting Brian.
It was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen. His entire side of the courtroom was full.
He recognized many faces on Brian's side of the court and was in disbelief that they could side with and support Brian, highlighting just how twisted,
literally just supporting pedophilia, crazy,
Hollywood elites truly were in the core. Drake couldn't believe it, as Brian had even confessed to the crime, so how could they justify their support?
And my side was me, my mom, and my brother.
Many other celebrities, including X-Men James Marsden, also wrote letters to the judge to support Bryant.
I addressed my statement to everyone in the room. I looked at all of them, and I just said, how dare you? You will forever have the memory of sitting in this courtroom and defending this person. And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me
Yeah, that's insane.
and doing unspeakable acts and crimes.
And Brian would only get 16 months in jail, but is now registered as a sex offender.
Bro. He needs worse than that. Break a lip, I mean, actually break instead of saying it. No, say break a neck, not a leg, bro.
Although all in all, this was just a slap on the wrist. Drake never received any apologies from those who supported Brian. And ironically, the only person who was there for Drake was Dan Schneider, another
Probably, yeah. Which is the weird part. I mean, I know it's a saying, I'm just saying.
creepy Hollywood executive who was accused of inappropriate behavior. Drake actually spoke out about it in a documentary called Quiet on the Set, exposing Hollywood for their sexual predators within the industry. The interview was great, and it must have taken a bunch of courage to talk about something so demeaning. And it was only after this documentary that some of the people supporting Brian finally reached out and apologized for supporting him. And don't forget to check out My Heritage. Sign up for a 14-day...
I mean, I guess good they apologized, but I'd say it's too late for that. It's saying, but I get you. I actually even saw someone kill a PETA and got... Oh. Okay, then.
Today, we're showcasing some of the craziest clips we've ever featured, so buckle up for Wham Bam Tesla Cam's Worst Drivers of Texas, Volume 1. Ram was driving home from dinner in his Model Y when the BMW in front of him hit the curb and flipped twice.
What?
Him hit the curb and flipped twice.
GG, bro.
When Ram stopped to check on the driver, he noticed that a fire had started. Thankfully, a passerby had a fire extinguisher in his car and was able to stop the fire from spreading. They were able to remove the driver from the car. He had no serious injuries, but was in shock. Police arrived quickly and were able to provide further assistance. Ram offered them a copy of his Tesla Cam video. This next clip comes from a biker who runs the YouTube channel Memento Moto. He was riding while his brother was driving this Tesla. The video starts with the submitter and his brother turning onto Highway 6 in Houston, Texas. They were right next to each other when a Ford driver pulled up behind them. He was driving a bit fast, but they didn't think anything of it until he accelerated right up to the submitter's bike. The submitter told us he could see the Ford getting dangerously close, so he gestured for him to back off and give him some space. He thinks this triggered the Ford driver because he passed the submitter dangerously closely in the center lane, while he was still riding in that lane. The submitter told us he flipped the Ford driver the bird, but then he tried to hit him with his vehicle. He then slowed down and stopped, opened his door, and walked toward him with a metal baseball bat.
That's insane.
Reach your dreams by creating a website with WebNode.
Bro, what's his problem?
The submitter dismounted his bike and walked back to put some distance between them before informing the Ford driver that he was carrying a firearm. At that point, the Ford driver mysteriously changed his mind and got back into his vehicle before driving away. Our submitter called 911 and he told us the police issued a warrant for the
That's why you gotta have a gun on you, I guess.
The Ford driver's arrest for aggravated assault with a weapon. Our submitter told us he hopes this never happens to anyone else, but that everyone should be prepared with a camera to document any similar situation. Thomas was driving in Pflugerville, Texas, when he encountered some road workers who'd closed down the road and were only allowing traffic to flow in one direction at a time. The driver of a beat-up Mazda didn't even try to slow down and drove into oncoming traffic, blowing past the flagger and her stop sign. The Mazda driver obviously couldn't care less what the sign said and nearly hit a truck. Then the Mazda driver went off-road to get around the other oncoming vehicles. The road worker immediately got on her radio to inform the road crew that someone was heading toward them the wrong way. Thomas gave a "what in the world? That driver is an idiot" gesture to the worker, and she just shook her head in agreement.
What in the world?
Dustin was driving his Model 3 on a highway in Ferris, Texas, when the driver of a Kia on his right started to drift toward the guardrail. It looks like the Kia driver noticed what was about to happen moments before impact, as we can see brake lights come on. Sadly, it was too late, and the Kia jumped the guardrail before coming crashing back down. Don't text and drive. Doug was using the FSD beta. When his car took a turn, he found himself in the middle of a police chase. Doug told us the Tesla started beeping and quickly moved toward the right side of the road. This was totally unexpected behavior, and things were pretty chaotic. As he tried to figure out what was happening, all he saw were headlights and flashing lights heading straight at him. At this point, his Tesla had stopped, but he accelerated a bit after the suspect had passed him, so the police had more room to get around him. If we look at the left repeater camera, we can see the suspect's SUV knock the mirror off of a pickup truck. Doug didn't contact the police, as they were clearly already aware of the situation. He later found a report about the incident online, and the guy driving the SUV had been caught. Police 1, bad guys 0.
Bad guys 0.
Palmer was taking his daughter to the airport and was running an hour late thanks to the daylight saving time change, so he was unable to stop and share his video, but he did call 911 to report the collision. By sending us the video, he's hoping it might reach the people involved and help them out with their insurance claims. This emitter was driving his Model Y in Dallas, Texas, when he was passed by a Model 3 cutting between lanes and speeding down the highway. What the Model 3 driver didn't realize was that one of the cars he passed was actually a marked state trooper. We're not really sure how he missed that one. The trooper sped up and lit up the speeding Tesla driver, pulling him over. Jay was on his commute early one Friday morning when someone slammed on their brakes and caused a 3-car accident. Jay wishes he could give his quick reflexes credit for that save, but he's almost certain the car reacted before he did, particularly the braking. Thankfully, nobody involved in the accident was hurt. Jason was going through an intersection on a green light when a red light runner suddenly appeared in front of him. Jason had no chance to stop and T-boned the other driver. They immediately tried to fight Jason after the crash, claiming it had been Jason's fault. A nearby security guard got involved to stop the other driver. When the police arrived, Jason showed them his Tesla cam footage, and the other driver was immediately found responsible for the collision. After a few days of snow and ice, roads were beginning to clear. Cameron was heading to work when a large chunk of ice flew off a truck about 10 yards ahead in the next lane. Cameron nearly hit the curb trying to...
How?
...in the next lane.
What?
Chunk of ice flew off a truck about 10 yards ahead in the next lane.
Had the foot.
Cameron nearly hit the curb trying to avoid it while numerous alarms and safety systems activated. He believes that if he'd been behind the truck, his windshield would have been shattered. Wait, what was that running across the road in front of them? A wild boar?
No,
it looks like a dog escaped from a Ford Expedition on the opposite side of the road from this submitter. This caused traffic to stop, but the driver of the Ford Explorer in front of the submitter wasn't paying attention and rear-ended the car in front of him. We can see the dog here before it enters the street, and again here when it makes it safely across.
Pay attention, man.
The submitter didn't want to be rear-ended, so he accelerated right away and left the area. A police officer behind him immediately activated their lights to control traffic. Tim was driving down a highway, and the vehicle ahead of him was driving slowly with the hazard lights on. Suddenly, the front driver's wheel came off, and the car started scraping along the ground. Tim pulled over behind the vehicle, but then parts and sparks started flying everywhere. He moved back into the lanes before the wheel flew off. Tim had to play a real-life game of Mario Kart to avoid everything that was happening.
Mario
Antonio
Kart.
was on his way to work in Houston, Texas when he approached an intersection. He slowed down as a precaution, but the driver behind him didn't. The pickup rear-ended him, causing him to launch forward into the road. Luckily, there weren't any oncoming cars at the time. They filed an insurance claim, and Antonio is still waiting to hear how much the repairs will cost. Josh was driving his Model 3 in Austin, Texas when he got front row seats to some road rage.
Road rage. Imagine. If you have road rage,
the drivers of a red Chevy truck and a black Jeep SUV were swerving toward each other, and Josh was afraid there would be a serious accident. The Chevy and the Jeep pulled up next to each other, but then something made the Jeep driver immediately pull over. Josh told us it's hard to see in the video, but he saw the driver of the Chevy truck stick his hand out the window, and it looked like he was holding a black object, but he can't be sure. What do you think caused the Jeep driver to abort his road rage? This emitter had parked her Model 3 outside of a store in Texas. When she came back to her Tesla, she found a large dent on the driver's side door. She jumped in to watch the Sentry Mode footage and discovered the lady in a Subaru parked next to her had let her door get caught by the wind, which slammed it into the Tesla. Obviously, this wasn't done on purpose, but it still left our submitter with a repair bill of $800 US. A lot of people comment on our videos that door dings aren't a crime, but who do you think should have to pick up the repair bill? In this case, should this be on the Tesla owner or the Subaru owner? Leave your vote in the comments.
Whoever went into that car.
In the end, the Subaru driver was uninsured, so our submitter was forced to pay for it anyway. We've got one more video from the same submitter, but this time she was making a left turn onto a side road. There was a girl standing on the side of the road she was turning into, apparently waiting to be picked up by someone. Her ride skipped the line of 3 cars to turn around to pick her up, but they crashed into our submitter's Tesla and ripped off her bumper cover.
Sinu ümber on igapäevaselt sadu ja tuhandeid inimesi, kaasliiklejad, sinu trenniga.
Hinga sisse. Lenori parfüümiteraapia intensiivset lõhna. Tänu parfüümiõli tehnoloogiale püsib intensiivne parfüüm sinuga päeva lõpuni. Lenori parfüümiteraapia. 3 korda kauakestvam värskus. Lisa Lenori graanuleid, mis toovad koos Lenori loputusvahendiga 6 korda värskuse koostisosi.
If you're a web designer, he was like saying like,
here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
Hard, skibbity toilet.
Oh, I've seen the AI Facebook shits, but
man,
not this one.
Oh, is he going to be a character in the new Borderlands movie? You know how I feel about generative AI, and for what
like old people, some actually believe this is not AI.
Ever reason, maybe to make me a little mad, the MK executives have decided that I am going to cover the AI slop.
Check. Well, GG ads. We're cooked.
Today, we're showcasing some of the craziest clips we've ever featured, so buckle up for Wham Bam Tesla Cam's Worst Drivers of Texas, Volume 1. Ram was driving home from dinner in his Model Y when the BMW in front of him hit the curb and flipped twice. When Ram stopped to check on the driver, he noticed that a fire had started. Thankfully, a passerby into our submitter's Tesla and ripped off her bumper cover.
Yo, my bad.
Guess what? This driver didn't have insurance either. The Tesla went back to the repair shop, this time with a bill of $3,800 US. Crew was driving on a service road with a double left turn lane. He was in the inside turn lane, preparing to cross a bridge. Suddenly, an Amazon delivery driver in a Rivian van began to turn into his lane and almost hit him. The Rivian ended up passing behind him, honking the whole time, then crossed into the other turn lane on the other side of him. This is our first submission featuring the Rivian delivery van, and it looks great. Sadly, Crew says it was really annoying that the driver kept honking as if Crew was in the wrong. Crew contacted Amazon Delivery and Logistics to report the unsafe driver. Jimmy had just picked up his Model 3 from the shop after it had been hit in a parking lot. Suddenly, he was hit by a distracted driver in a company vehicle. The damage was
Imagine you just repaired your car and it gets cucked again.
minor and mainly to the bumper cover, but this was a small consolation as Jimmy took his car back to the repair shop.
Bro just dipped.
Was driving on a highway in Dallas, Texas with autopilot engaged when a VW driver nearly merged into their Model 3.
That's crazy.
Two's cops swerved to avoid a collision, nearly colliding with another vehicle in the left lane. The VW driver needlessly switched lanes quickly before exiting. Thankfully, Two's cops' Tesla wasn't damaged. We can tell it's brand new, as evidenced by the temporary paper license plate. Brevin was leaving the gym in his Model 3. As he entered an access road, he noticed a dark figure down the street. Brevin slowed down and moved to the left side of the lane to avoid a collision, but the situation still gave him the heebie-jeebies. The person seemed to be in no hurry to get out of the path of an oncoming car as they meandered to the other side of the road. Slim was driving his Model 3 westbound on a highway when, out of nowhere, the Mustang in front of him lost its hood. Does the Built Ford Tough slogan apply to Mustangs as well? From the footage, there doesn't appear to be any damage to any other vehicles. Slim's Tesla got a scuff smaller than his fingernail on the passenger's door panel. Slim decided not to file an insurance claim. The damage appears minimal and can be buffed out, and his car has a ceramic coating on it. Skylar was test driving a Model Y when a pickup truck rear-ended her. While she was assessing the damage, the pickup driver told her he didn't know she was going to stop. He pulled over and gave her his information. Since the Model Y was a demo car, she then shared that info with the Tesla sales rep after going back to the showroom. After all that, Skylar has decided to order a Tesla. At least we hope she did. In what other car can you experience this much excitement? Brian sent us this video recorded when his wife Amber was driving in Fort Worth, Texas. Suddenly, she had to slow down for a vehicle stopped on the shoulder. The driver of the vehicle 2 cars behind Amber, a large SUV, didn't see her braking and lost control. They managed to cross all lanes without striking another vehicle. The Toyota Prius in the fast lane made some nice evasive maneuvers. Brian said the Wham Bam Tesla Cam channel is the reason his family got a Tesla. They wanted the safest car out there. He wanted to send a shout out to his kiddos Colton, Kirsten, and Caroline. This submitter witnessed a rather strange crash. A BMW M5 driver made an illegal left turn into an SUV that was illegally driving straight from the left turn lane. The BMW driver then took off, making it a hit and run. The submitter says he wasn't surprised as he'd noticed the BMW driver behaving erratically before this. Joseph was driving his Model 3 when traffic ahead of him came to a complete stop. Joseph started to slow down, but he told us he decelerated too slowly. So the Tesla fully applied the brakes on its own to stop in time. After Joseph had been stopped for 2 full seconds, a Hyundai slammed into him. When they pulled into a parking lot, a heated argument ensued. The other driver screamed at Joseph and threatened to call the police because he had slammed on his brakes. And when Joseph offered to show them his Tesla Cam footage, they started screaming at him for having a computer in his car. Joseph filed an insurance claim when he got home. The next day, he got a call from the other driver's insurance provider accepting liability. They told him the only reason for such a quick turnaround was because of the dash cam footage. If you don't have a dash cam, check the description for our recommendation. Abram was driving his Model X with autopilot engaged in Katy, Texas when a group of middle schoolers threw water balloons at him.
This is hella fun. What?
Abram's brother, who was with him in the car, found the situation hilarious. At first, Abram turned around and tried to find the kids, but he ultimately joined in on his brother's laughter. Oliver was driving his Model 3 on the highway in Spring, Texas. He was behind a landscaping truck that lost a ladder when it was cut off by an SUV. Oliver reacted quickly and was able to avoid the ladder. He told us even though the truck driver was cut off, the ladder still should have been better secured. Nobody stopped and the truck left, so Oliver called the landscaping company to let them know about their lost ladder. Apparently, they couldn't care less about it. Zuni was driving down a road in Irving, Texas, when a Mazda driver cut in front of him, causing him to swerve to avoid a collision.
I mean, yeah, free ladder. True.
Unfortunately, since he has behavior-based insurance, this swerving affected his insurance premium, raising it from $100 to $150 per month. Wait a second. Why would making an epic evasive maneuver to avoid an accident, saving the insurance company a lot of money and hassle, result in a higher premium? Joseph noticed he was missing a credit card and his ID while buying some food down the road. He figured he might have pulled them out at home and forgot to put them back in his wallet. When he got back to his car, he discovered a Sentry Mode alert. Normally, he doesn't even watch them, but this time, he's glad he did. These good Samaritans made his day. Had he not watched the Sentry Mode video, he would have never realized they'd found his cards and placed them on top of his car. Joseph hadn't seen the cards while getting in the car. He's thankful for these kind people and for Sentry Mode. Brian had just turned onto Highway 36 late one night when a trucker tried to make a U-turn across the dark highway. Brian noticed it at the last second and had to swerve off the road to avoid hitting it. Brian told us he wasn't using autopilot and the system didn't give him any alerts even when he went off-road.
Yeah, that's scary.
Easy had parked his Model 3 in the municipal workers parking lot in Ayton, Texas. When he got back to his car, he found this Sentry Mode footage. A woman walked into the parking lot and approached Easy's Tesla. She tried to open the door and let me tell you, she gave it her best shot.
What the fuck? Yo, get your fat ass
I don't think
out
I've
of there,
ever seen
bro.
someone pull a door handle that hard before. Thankfully, it was able to handle the pressure.
That's crazy.
She then circled the parking lot before coming back to the Tesla for another door wrestling attempt. Easy contacted the police and
she went back dumbass.
Gave them his Sentry Mode video. They were impressed and are working on identifying the woman. Even though the door handle still works, Easy booked an inspection with Tesla service just in case anything was damaged.
What an idiot.
Jetstorm was sitting in a Wendy's parking lot with his friends, eating in his car.
The girl would magically unlock, yeah.
If you're disturbed by the idea of getting fries all over the inside of a Tesla, just hold on because that's not even the disturbing part. Jetstorm also has an aftermarket dashcam that records audio, and they were also singing karaoke. I'm not sure if I should subject you to this or not, but here we go.
I see you too late. Got nothing in my brain.
Is that Taylor Swift?
That's what people say. That's what people say. Oh, sorry, I got a little carried away there. Unfortunately, the karaoke isn't the only tragedy in this story. A driver was about to exit his vehicle when he somehow put his car in reverse, and while hanging out of the vehicle, he crashed into the Wendy's drive-thru counter.
Oh no, put the brakes in like
What the his foot? Oh!
Jetstorm told us the driver said he was fine and they didn't need to worry about him. He even went back into Wendy's to eat his food. Let's listen in on the conversation they had in the car after the accident.
What the just happened? Jake, you have a dash cam, right? Yeah, I do. There's no way he's just leaving. Okay, it's not real.
We gotta see what it looks like.
Oh, it was an old man. No.
Wham! Bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.
I ain't gonna lie, the people inside the car sound very annoying.
Sub. Let's get in there and get absolutely furious, ladies and gents. Photo shoot! Amazing! Yeah, that's amazing, all right. Amazingly grotesque and horrible to look at. Best talent boy. Why did he make Putin? Why'd you have him make that? Whatever, dude. Oh, there it is. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Amen, beautiful cabin crew. What do you mean cabin crew? That's Jesus riding Jerry Seinfeld through the skies. That's just, huh?
There's automatic car bark in his car. He needed another car that doesn't have it. What?
What? Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Okay, we've got a child whose foot is turning into whatever it is that they're wearing. Things still can't handle hands. I do find that to be absolutely hilarious. Notice how everything just kind of like melts.
That finger looks like something else. I ain't gonna lie. Now I'm good on the AI stuff though.
avasta Adventurose metsikuid maitseid iga päev, nii äratad oma koera loomulikku seiklushimu. Proovi Adventurost.
Today we're looking at extremely entitled people. From a woman who refuses to leave the car because her date took her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
What's wrong with cheesecake?
To a person who literally ordered 48 oysters on
disgusting
the first date.
Like, I hate fish, seafood, and out of the food that you would pick, I would pick that probably the last. Imagine eating that.
Expecting the...
You got the Sia car ads. I'm proud Romanian.
Guy to pay for it. All right, you know what? No chit chat today. We're jumping right into it with our first clip over here. We got this woman who claims that she's so beautiful. Literally, Queen Cleopatra over here, who thinks that she's so beautiful that her first date is not allowed to take her to the Cheesecake Factory, and she actually deserves like a 5-star restaurant. Cheesecake 2.
Honestly, I would take if I get a girl, I would go to a fast food restaurant for a first date. I don't care.
Peasantry for her.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Did you want me to open the door for you? Are you're recording me?
Yeah.
She probably wants him to pay on the food as well.
This is the Cheesecake Factory.
Bro, what's wrong with that?
This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
Yeah,
this is a chain restaurant.
That's what I'm saying.
Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You don't like cheesecake?
Yeah, imagine
like
you're
what?
pulling up to a first date with somebody, and the first thing you see is them pulling out their phone, recording for TikTok.
Yeah, that's
Word
cringe.
of advice: run immediately. Okay, there is
Probably be excited to go to cheesecake. Yeah, same.
no
Never been there.
situation in which
Seems cool.
that is remotely okay. Okay, this is clearly an insane attention seeker who takes someone who looks like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what are you, queen
Red
princess
flag.
of the universe? Galactic
debate,
overlords ruled you as #1 most prettiest person on the planet? Holy shit, nobody's above the Cheesecake Factory, okay? It's already a moderately expensive place, okay? Jesus Christ, it's a first date. He's not gonna commit to you. Like, he doesn't even know if you're crazy or not. And the fact that he's even...
Oh, you did? Good for you. I farted like 3 times.
like willing to talk to you after you started, you know, with your filming and,
so yeah,
and addressing yourself.
She would have went to Waffle House.
Look at me, like nobody wants to deal with this type of narcissistic bullshit.
I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
So
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. Look at. I mean,
all out is crazy.
When you take out a beautiful woman, and you're courting her, because I get courted, so you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well.
Indian, okay.
Right?
And what's wrong with that?
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you,
instinct,
to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too.
Okay, that's totally reasonable. Of course, he has some expectations of the girl to be respectful on the first date, not pull out her goddamn TikTok. And the fact is, like, even though you're having this conversation, your first date is already an argument. You can't even look at the guy. What the heck is this? You're looking at your freaking camera. You're looking at your TikTok followers instead of the guy. The guy's looking clearly in your face.
I would literally just kick her out of my car right there, right now. Like, are you serious?
It's because he wants to talk
Nah.
man to princess, you know? Listen,
what
this
is
guy
this?
is being so incredible.
The date is over.
We're nice right now. I don't know why he's entertaining her at all. Her attitude is absolutely insufferable. My God. Okay, not to be a Mr. Well, actually, right? But if a guy is going on a first date, the reason he's not gonna splurge is because 1, he doesn't know you. 2, he's probably going on plenty of first dates. So if he goes all in on 1, he's gonna be broke. He's literally like, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. Okay? He needs to assess your character first before he starts spending money on you, you know?
I expect her to be cooperative.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like, even like
go out
when
in a
we
date.
were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay.
I don't know
and
you.
I can respect that.
I guess,
I can
yeah,
respect
could be.
that. When
First date.
I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. Just, we're not
Again,
maybe
I don't
we're not
know
there
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to as a woman. Well, you're whining and complaining already, okay? So, right, that's already an X right there. Now, does the average woman have a problem with the Cheesecake Factory? I would guess not, okay?
Yeah,
They're not
surely.
all entitled princesses like you who expect to be treated like literally royalty. The problem here is that you're absolutely delusional, okay? Pulling out your TikTok and recording on the very first date is not normal behavior, okay? I don't know who in your goddamn simp squad has gassed you up so much to the point where you think this is normal behavior, okay? This is not normal behavior. Nobody is looking at you like you're Mary Jane from Spider-Man. Not all the guys in the world aren't fighting over you, okay? This is a regular ass first date. Get over yourself. Okay, now turns out there's a bit of a plot twist to this story. Turns out this woman is so entitled that actually the backstory to this was that this guy was supposed to pick her up at like 4 p.m. for a date, and she showed up an hour late, a full goddamn hour late, and she still has the audacity to complain about the location of the date. Unbelievable.
Hour late is
I got
insane.
myself
there's
all made
nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
1 hour late, dumbass.
I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour.
So he was gonna take her to a way better place even. So that's on her for... Bro, 1 hour being late is insane.
So I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said,
Then
I
why
don't
not
know
tell
you well
him?
enough to invite you up into my apartment.
And
that is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking,
Ash,
okay,
baby.
if we're not there in the relationship to, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria.
Okay, so like now we've got this additional information where the guy was actually going to splurge on you. In fact, the first place that he booked was like a fancy reservation just for you. But then you showed up an hour late, literally blew your entire chances with this guy. Now he just wants to take you to the Cheesecake Factory, which is still fine, which is still good, fine and dandy. But you can't be complaining that you're not getting a fancy place when he literally gave you a chance. He gave you a chance and you blew it. Listen, my only question is, what does he see in her, dude? Is she like glowing, sparkling? I can see some of the sun rays on her, but other than that, like, why is this guy putting up with this absolute BS?
Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing, which I'm still willing to do. I would have been, but if we're late, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early
motherfuckers
and have some time to get to know each other on the way there, and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
I'm waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, the equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't
just said,
understand.
You need reservations,
Look at
no?
me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
Do you not understand? Everything in the universe should just open up to me, because look at me. I'm a diva. I'm a princess.
Crazy.
I'm a queen. I'm the most gorgeous person in the last 7 trillion solar systems. My God, can you not see how pretty I am? She's really talking like, you know, the second a woman like her walks into the Cheesecake Factory, it's just gonna spontaneously blow up, because a place like
Kill is insane though. But yeah, Cheesecake Factory sounds good.
Cheesecake Factory, they can't handle her absolute gorgeousness, you know? How do people become like this? Like, are they just born this way, like with this attitude? Or is it an army of simps that have just been perpetually telling her that she's a queen? Because I don't think this attitude is something you're born with, you know? Also, a message to the fellas, all right? Yeah. Come on. You can't let somebody disrespect you this bad and then still want to take them out. Like, why are you arguing with this chick? Like, the second she pulled out the dick dog, drive away. Kick her out the car and drive away, dude. You waited even an hour for her? Unbelievable. And you changed the location. Like, it's such a headache for nothing, dude. I don't know what.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die.
You will die. I will get it if she's allergic to, like, dairy products or something. The woman doesn't know what she's rejecting.
Embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that. I can tell it's not gonna be there.
Inside of a screen.
Maybe we're not right for each other.
Cheesecake Factory.
So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm up.
So you just want to call it a night?
I love how flabbergasted.
What? I have never been into a place fancy like this in my whole life. Bro. She rejected the Cheesecake Factory. Bro, this looks... What the fuck? Like, that's a vibe. It looks good. Spawn 1 in New York City. She definitely from the hood. What? Huh.
She is that a guy can actually reject her. You know, this is the first time this has ever happened in her entire life. She's just like, oh no, he didn't. She started emoting. You're like, oh no, he didn't. Like, if you're gonna act like an obnoxious asshole, wow, it turns out you're gonna get rejected. Unbelievable. Props to this guy for actually having some shred of self-respect and deciding to go on his way, you know?
I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
Yes, the ladies can believe it.
But if I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
I guess I understand.
Hey, at least he's dropping you off. He didn't kick you out of the car. Bro. I apologize if she let me put my face... Okay, bro. It looks like 4 stars at minimum, yeah.
What you gotta do?
You know, not bad. Good. You know, surprisingly cooperative there at the end. I expected a wide range of hissy fits being thrown, but she actually accepted the rejection and is going on her way. Now, my only question is, why the hell has she uploaded this to TikTok? Does she actually think she's in the right here? Does she want some retribution for this man? Because she's shown his face on TikTok. I don't know what the intention is over here, right, but again, props to the guy for leaving with your dignity intact. Anyways, that was episode 1 there. Moving on to this TikTok over here. Dates I will not be going on in 2023. And essentially, she just lists out like every normal date there is.
Dates I will not be going on in 2023. Starting off strong, we have the come over to my place and watch a movie. Absolutely not, sir. You could be the next Jeffrey Dahmer. Next, we have the let's grab a coffee. This guy.
The chances of you being the next Jeffrey Dahmer is like very low, but okay.
Is literally
last year,
just speed dating. No, thank you. Let's get ice cream. This is literally just a coffee date, but with a nice.
What if it's hot as fuck and you want ice cream to cool down?
Nice pretty bow on top.
What?
Next we have the where do you want to go? This guy's probably
that forehead going crazy. She might be related to KSI.
Probably a loser and expects you to plan the first date. Absolutely not. Let me see you this weekend. This date has absolutely no context nor commitment, and no date has been established.
What? It sounds like a dream if you go through the park eating. Yeah.
So, therefore, no thank you.
Ilu ei tunne piire. Vali nädala kingitus veebipoest makeup.ee.
And last but certainly not least, we have let's go for a walk.
What's wrong with a walking? Yesterday you love it. Ice cream? And walking in the park? Yeah, that sounds cool. One of these days have too much social media. Yeah.
Sir, I am not a dog.
What do you want him to do, okay? Oh my god, what the hell? Like, this is, you've listed out like all the normal dates. Okay, we got movie, we got coffee, we got a walk, we got ice cream. You're rejecting an ice cream date, dude?
Bro.
Jeffrey Dahmer could invite me to an ice cream date and I'd be like, butter me up, baby.
What?
Jesus Christ. Ice cream, she's rejecting free ice cream, ain't no way. So I'm just trying to understand here, like, that covered probably 95% of all dates, right? So I'm just I'm struggling to understand what is left here. Probably private jet, okay, for those of us that can afford that. Then we got I don't know what else. Amusement park. She'd probably think something similar to the come over to my place to watch a movie. Oh, amusement park, what are you gonna take me in an alley and kill me or something? Some bullshit like that. We'll find a way to reject that. What else is there? I guess restaurant is probably the only thing she'd go on, unless that's covered. I mean, coffee, restaurant, kind of the same thing. I don't know. I mean, different obviously, but you get what I mean. It's a place where you consume food. You know, I just feel like you can't be this picky, okay? If you're trying to find a good partner, you really can't be this picky. This kind of reminds me of that one trend on TikTok where girls would like talk about the ick, like things that guys did that gave them the ick, and it would just be everything. It would be like breathing.
True. If you meet someone like that instantly, what's the similarity? You and a dollar bill. You're both single. Yeah. Got him. Ask you a helicopter, but the blade should not spin to get her in the air. Okay.
Standing, sitting, loving your mother, flinching when a line comes up to your face, crying when your mom got run over a car. It's just an ick for me, you know? I can't deal with it. Okay, moving on to this next clip here. We got a very, very strong feminist here who somehow justifies not going 50-50 with guys. Now, that doesn't quite add up because you remember, feminism is about equality. So let's hear this absolutely...
Bro, what's wrong with 50-50? That sounds perfect. Be glad he's not paying only for his food.
Insane mental gymnastics she pulls off here.
The thing that I have realized about this topic is that there are so many women that really do advocate for not going 50-50, right? And for me, I definitely went through like well, I'm a feminist. I shouldn't have an issue going 50-50 phase, right? When I was younger. But recently I started to realize just how difficult it was accepting going 50-50 with men. And I have come to the realization that it is because even as a feminist, it is the only benefit women reap out of the patriarchy. A benefit we did not create the rules for. Y'all did. But it is still a benefit that women get from the patriarchy. So whenever men start advocating for like, well, what about equality? Pick up this check or whatever. When I hear that, it's like, you're literally trying to rid me of the only benefit I get out of the patriarchy. The only, like, think about it for a second. Is there any other benefit we get out of the patriarchy?
Okay, so before I name about 7,999,000 billion benefits this woman is getting from the patriarchy, or society, or
basically, that who want representation from 100 years ago. Yeah.
Any human gets, or society in general. Let's just award her with a Olympic gold medal in dodging accountability, because wow, that is impressive. I'm also a feminist, except when it's time to pay rent, when it's time to pay bills. Then I'm just back to a victim. All right, I'm sorry, the patriarchy, please. Turns out, guys, it's actually really hard to earn money, believe it or not. Unless you're an Instagram baddie, Instagram famous. Turns out money doesn't really grow on trees, you know? Money doesn't come from nowhere. Maybe put some respect on the guys that have been paying for your bills, I don't know, because they probably didn't earn it from OnlyFans or some shit like that. They were probably working out there in the real world doing some real goddamn hard-ass jobs. Now, as for benefits from the patriarchy or just our society in general, I don't know, your water supply, the house you live in, security, protection, technological innovation, the advancement of society in general, I don't know, physics, math, history, chemistry, law and order, the food you eat, the resources you have, the app you're goddamn whining on, the phone you're using to whine with, the people who are watching your TikTok right now, probably. I mean, how incredibly delusional do you have to be to think that the only benefit you get from our society right now is that men sometimes pay your bills? Are you an idiot?
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is literally people who are so goddamn spoiled that they do not understand the amount of privilege they're living under. What kind of disrespectful a-hole just discards an entire group of just legendary people who have worked so hard to make everything so comfortable for us, so safe, like so convenient? Like, you know, if all like the good men in your life disappeared, your life would be torturous, bro. You'd go outside and get mauled by an animal or a human, you don't know. Like, I don't know why it's so hard to believe that everybody is valuable and men and women both have their roles and everyone in between. Okay, everybody is valuable. Okay, let's move on to Oyster Girl.
Oyster Tuesday. What the hell?
Over here. And I warn you, this is really hard to watch just because of the goddamn like slurping noises going on. But anyways, basically this girl is on a first date and she realizes that the guy is actually paying. So she orders 48, I count you, 48 oysters and a bunch of other food, having in mind that the guy is gonna pay for it, all while filming her goddamn TikTok on the supposed date, having her flash on, slurping up all these oysters while this dude is just sitting there watching her do all the shit.
No.
Yeah, so
Bro got cooked.
If
you have an Android, you're poor. Some Androids are almost as expensive, yeah.
A few weeks ago, out with my friends, this nigga been texting me for weeks talking to himself. Why I didn't block him, I don't know. But today I was bored and I had time, so he texted me like, can we meet for drinks? And I'm like, yeah, meet me here. They got the best fucking oysters in Atlanta, like, hands down. So I'm like, yes, I can get some content, come on. It's so good.
I hope she gets sick from the oysters. Some are like $1 off, and they say, "Nah, this man is poor." Yes. Okay. Yeah. Like, how do you see that and you're like, that looks like some good food? Like, you don't even cook the oyster. It's disgusting. Let's give your date some. No, honestly, if I was her date, I would not eat that. I'd rather die from starvation.
Y'all, when the fourth one came out, he was looking at me crazy. I didn't give a fuck.
Wow, disrespect is crazy.
I'm like, baby, you invited me out. I'm gonna eat, and I was coming anyway. But I ain't gonna lie, no, I wouldn't have did all that, but I did do all that. They was so good. I was not expecting it to be that good. It was just so good. Like I had to. It was so good. So
Poor
after
dude, man. Order and she passes the limit. She pays all.
Those slurping noises could probably kill a man. I'm half convinced they use that for psychological torture in North Korea. That is ridiculous. Here we have this woman who is so goddamn entitled. She thinks that the guy's gonna pay for everything, so it allows me to just order
She gets
an enormous amount
Please
of food.
tell me.
Now, we'll find out later that this is not really what the guy had in mind. In fact, in this entire meal, the guy ordered one drink, which he was barely about to finish, while she's slurping on these oysters. Now, personally, I've never actually had an oyster, but I would suspect that 48 is a bit too much. Is a bit
48 per one plate, or the whole thing?
Avocado territory. All right, you need to lay off the oysters at that point. Now, I want you guys to put yourself in this situation. You show up to first date, and you're just sitting there watching this woman slurp up these oysters that you're gonna be paying for while filming her TikTok. Can you think of anything worse? I don't think I can. Well. The only thing that would be worse is if she stabbed and shot me.
I'm like, baby, what's next? What I'm about to eat? These potatoes, they were so good. And
this is interesting. Alright. Wait, that's actually kind of normal time to sleep. Alright, man. Good night. Wait, Chemical just woke up? What the fuck? Wait, Chemical just woke up. Wait. Spam is going to sleep and Chemical just woke up. Crazy. Oh, you were actually out today. Oh. You weren't sleeping. Alright. 3-4 p.m. Good night, man. Hope you're doing good, Chemical.
And the crab cakes, everything was so good. 10-10, baby. Why the fuck this bitch ass say he going to the bathroom and never come back?
Yes. The good old, I gotta go to the bathroom. Fuck you. W man.
I'm like, hold the fuck on. It's been like 10, 20, 30 minutes, bitch. What the fuck this nigga at? Had to end up grabbing a tab, bitch. Left me with his little one fucking drink. Yeah, bitch. I'm so glad bitch keep me some money, cause what? That was crazy to me. And
nah, you crazy.
And I said, bitch, you run out on the
drinks and you ordered all that food. The total of... He can even cash app. Oh, wow. Nah, don't even do that, bro.
Tab, he talking about, I'm gonna offer you to drink. The fuck are you talking about?
All right, time for some Kowalski analysis. All right, that is a goat move right there, leaving. Believe it or not, I thought there would be two sides to this story. I thought there would be people having some sympathy for her because, you know, you're not supposed to run out in the middle of a date.
She might be light-skinned or something.
That's considered unprofessional. But actually, every single comment is supporting the guy. It's just like, I would have ran out too. And that's kind of my opinion here as well, because you provoked them, okay? You're trying to be a complete
that's crazy.
dickhead. So obviously,
like, maybe he would pay if you get one plate, But bro got like 4 plates.
So he's gonna act like that. Running out on a tab is crazy. I offered to take you out for drinks and you ordered all that food. I can cash up the total for the drinks. But goddamn, that's just being nice at this point. In my opinion, you should just pay for his part of the meal and everything else is on her. Imagine listening to someone slurp 48 oysters. That was so disgusting. Why? Why did you film that? Oh my, is that some weird ass ASMR? People actually like that shit? I don't know, man. He didn't even finish his drink and you had 48 oysters, potatoes, and crab cakes. Not the crab cakes. Did y'all even talk to each other at all? Of course, it was a wonderful date as I was stuffing my gullet while this man is staring at me. Like, how could you even have a conversation when you spent about 45 minutes just stuffing your goddamn face, okay? Anyways, that's our last clip for today. Smash a like if you enjoyed. By the way, the button probably blew up right there. YouTube's got this fancy new update. Subscribe, the button blew up again. Anyways.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
Oh, wow.
This is the best-selling Android phone in the world. It's an even bigger deal than you think. If you look at the annual smartphone sales charts, basically every single year you'll see the exact same trend. The entire top 10 is basically iPhone, 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 but then a Galaxy A series. What? Specifically the Galaxy A10 series. And then a little while later, the Galaxy A0 series. And while obviously one major takeaway from this list is, damn, son, Apple sells a lot of iPhones. In a way, so why are these A series phones by far Samsung's best selling? Specifically this A10 series of them. And just before we get into it, we're gonna start a battery test of the Samsung A14 versus the iPhone 14. Match their cheaper phones to their more expensive phones in terms of design language. $50 price increment, there's a new option. And this makes their entire lineup a very smooth sliding scale, where at every $30 to $50 price increment, there's a new option with slightly better features. And this kind of structure means that most people are going to tend to start looking somewhere around the mid-range for their phone, and then just scale up or scale down from there depending on what they decide they need. And more importantly for this video, it makes their entry-level phones like the A14 feel like the best value. It's Samsung effectively spending some of the brand power and the reputation that they've earned from having some really high-end phones to shift more units of their lower-end phones.
I'm good.
These good cops humiliated corrupt cops.
He's under arrest! I don't know if I can watch those. When good cops humiliate the ass out of corrupt cops. I'm not sure. Other players in games helping new players. GTA players when you ask them for help. If no more than AI. Oh, it is 22:30. Your links did stop. Now it's Iron links. You know what? We can just keep that for another Reaction Monday. Yeah. I mean, we got 30 minutes left. I mean, that's not much. Let's do AI. That sounds as smart as your one brain cell. It wouldn't make sense for us to react and he'd never see our reactions. I mean, yeah. I mean, it is Monday reaction though. He wouldn't. I don't think he would care, but it's like 30 minutes, so why not? He already left as well, so yeah. Anything new, interesting? LGBTQ protester. What? Debate champion. Alice the Bully? Oh, hell no. Take wash and go to sleep. Alright. Duolingo, also known as Duo, is a kidnapper. Oh, is Duolingo gonna kidnap me? Gas station. Wait, that's kind of interesting. In 30 minutes.
You work a night shift at a gas station in your local town. One night a man comes in. He has a black hoodie, hood over his head, his face barely visible.
Nah, wait. Oh. Like when I end. I'll end at 23. Huh?
Greetings! Let's create moments of joy and learning together.
Welcome back. Oh, you're just saying when I'm ending. Okay. My bad. Autism.
Hi, Bookworm. Ready to write new chapters in your story.
Hello! Here to make. I'm the secret ingredient.
Shit. I don't know, random shit.
Ooh, did I scare you? Love a good thrill.
Nerd.
Hi, Bookworm. Ready to write new chapters in your story.
Oh yeah, you were a doctor. Oh yeah. I remember now. You did say. How did it went?
Hi, Bookworm. Ready to write new...
Hey, are you a magician? Because every time I look at you, everything else disappears.
Eureka, here for all your
Hey.
That voice is insane. Pretty, he gave you more antidepressants. Alright, I mean, yeah, gotta take your pills. That's what's up.
So you work a night shift at a gas station in your local town. One night a man comes in. He has a black hoodie, hood over his head. His face barely visible. He looks around before leaving. He doesn't this a few nights in a row. Till one day, he comes in and looks around before coming up to you. You look up from behind the counter, waiting when he whispers hi.
Hi. What? What do you mean we talked about the fur nose shot? What? Nah. Actually so nerdy, yeah. Hello. Ma'am. It would be better.
The man paused for and looked around. He fumbled with what seemed to be his left hand in his hoodie pocket before presenting a shiny silver revolver to you. Don't scream, don't reach for anything, give me all the money.
If they're short, I guess. Steals his arm. Alright.
The armed man squeals. What are you doing?
Got your arm. Now you can't shoot me. What? Brug? My guy. Oh yeah, it is.
The man stumbled back, grabbing his neck skin. WTF, he shouted in a low whisper, not to attract attention.
Got your arm. You can't shoot me.
The man stumbled back some more, looking around before his eyes landed on a nearby fire extinguisher. Okay, okay. Just don't hurt me.
Yeah, bitch. I'm the man.
The man hesitated before lunging to the side, grabbing the extinguisher and aiming it in your direction. Back! Back!
What a loser. Shoots the How the fuck you spell extinguisher? I'm just gonna copy it. Shoots the extinguisher and it explodes on the man. Pause. What?
The man stumbled to the ground, dazed and coughing as a white mist started to fill the room. The explosion knocking items on the shelves. Pop, my eyes. My eyes. My eyes.
Oh. Pause. Pause.
The man coughed and stumbled back, trying to get out of range of the extinguisher liquid. What are you doing? Stop! Stop!
What you get? That actually got me. Nice. Bro, I need a therapist? Nah, I'm joking around, bro. That's what you get, loser.
The man looked around in a panic. You don't actually think you've won, do you?
Wait, let me check the rules real quick. The rapist what?
In gambling, I think of this picture.
Okay, bro.
This is just a reminder that there is no such thing as losing money from gambling. There are only losing streaks. If you keep going, you will win, no matter what. Every time I think of quitting...
Real, bro. So real.
Born too late to explore Earth and too soon to explore the galaxy. So the only purpose of you being alive right now is gambling your daughter's college funds in the nearest casino. That's the reality. You...
Bro. What's the you in gambling, bro? Who has the white liquid all over?
The man looked down at his clothes and started to wipe some of it off, only to have it run off his fingers in viscous droplets. Ew. What on earth is this?
I'm about to come.
Secret.
The man looked at you in horror. Did you use the extinguisher on me?
Yeah. For sure. Obviously lying.
Man's you bastard. That stuff fires, not people.
Okay, bro cannot read facial expressions. It's much. Okay, that's crazy. Roblox GC. What? Make them uncringe.
Thanks, and you cool too.
Alright, that worked. That's crazy.
The man's face quickly became one of extreme disgust. Please say it's not what I think it is.
Leave out of my gas station or it gets even worse for you. Bucko.
The man quickly scrambled to his feet. All right, Christ. I'm leaving. No need to hurt me?
Soup. Search up the word yourself? What? Huh?
Yourself.
What? Oh. That crazy copy paste. Character AI. Genshin Imp? What the fuck? Oh. Yourself, not character AI. I'm dumb. What? I think I saw it in here though. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Yourself. Guess I should use my voice. Wait, I'm already using my voice. What the fuck? You suddenly woke up after fainting. You stood up to see that all around you is just nothing but darkness and water that you can somehow stand on. When you look in front of you, you see a replica of you yourself. Lil Autizmo? Hello, Lil Autizmo. You can see yourself smiling at you mischievously. You're not me. It continues to smile. Am I not? It suddenly came towards you and stood a few inches from you. Prove it. What are my top 5 colors? Pink, blue, yellow, red, and purple. Pink, blue? Yeah. You're not me. I mean, blue's alright, but definitely not pink. It just chuckled. It's quite weird how it just suddenly shows up and can even act so much like you. Then, what are your top 5 favorite colors? You're supposed to be me, so you should know it. I guess that's true. It shrugged and crossed its arms. Even the way it moves, it's as if it was made to be your reflection. I know, but I was just testing you. Yeah, that's cap. Whatever you say, it shrugged again. It's so hard to tell that it's not really you, considering it is identical to you in almost every way. It continued to stand in front of you with a slightly smug smirk. I mean, I kind of like the gas station, man. But alright, lab experiment. What? I think I saw it in here.
Hello. You are a creature that was found in the woods. You were brought into a laboratory to put experiments on your body to understand what are you and what your power or ability is. Now you are sitting in your room chained and with a muzzle on your mouth, not understanding what is happening. You see a scientist walk into your room. Scientist. Finally awake, subject 38. He asked with a cold tone as he wrote something in his clipboard.
That's like SCP. McDonald's customer. You're moving to Romania. What? You're cooked. Okay. McDonald's customer. What about you, bitch? No.
Hello, I'm here to add a special touch.
Do you have Wi-Fi?
Join me for conversations.
Ready to explore a
Join me for conversations that are as thought-provoking as they are joyful.
Oh,
Do you have
no.
Wi-Fi? Because I'm...
That was some weep shit.
You are a speaker for the McDonald's drive-thru. An angry customer honks the horn, angrily rushing you. Hey, I don't have all day. It's not my fault you dropped out of school. Let me speak to your manager. This is an average day for you. Will you try to be nice, confront the customer?
Is your name Karen?
The customer glares at you. Excuse me, what did you just call me?
You heard me, bitch.
The customer gasps, shocked that you would say that. H, how dare you? Get me your manager now.
Nah.
The customer fumes, her face red with anger. I said, get your manager out here now.
Nah.
The customer stamps their foot angrily. I am going to report you to your manager, and they will fire you. The customer then honks the horn some more. Will you continue to ignore them?
Good luck. I don't even work here.
The customer gapes at you, her face going pale. Huh? What? What do you mean you don't work here?
Through a speaker. I don't think she's in the speaker, but I'm the manager. You don't dare say I dropped out of school.
The customer is speechless, stunned by your swift action. She swallows nervously, her confidence shaken. You're the manager?
Am I? Oh well. Yup.
The customer looks at you timidly. Her attitude has completely changed. I see. Well, I have a complaint.
I do not care.
The customer's eyes widen in surprise at your bluntness. H, how can you be so rude? I have a legitimate problem. I demand you listen to me.
You gonna order anything or just bitch and moan? Hell nah, Karen.
The customer huffs, her face turning red once again. I came here to place an order and you're giving me attitude? You're supposed to be helpful and polite. This is terrible customer service.
Nuh-uh.
The customer grits her teeth, clearly getting very irritated. Stop calling me Karen. It's not my fault that you have a poor attitude. I'm a paying customer. I expect respeto and courtesy.
Okay, Karen, whatever.
The customer stomps her foot. That's enough. I have had it with your insolence. I demand to speak to your supervisor right now.
It's not terrible customer service if you exist. What? I guess, yeah.
The customer is so angry
could
that she
kill her.
literally can't even speak for a moment. She glares at you, her eyes narrowing to slits. How dare you? I am a respectable customer, and you are supposed to treat me with respect. Your attitude is simply unacceptable.
So, you gonna leave? Or what? You're banned here for life.
The customer grumbles with annoyance, but eventually relents. Fine. I'll take a number one with a Coke, no ice. But I'm definitely complaining about you to corporate.
Never mind. Never mind. You're banned from here for life.
The customer's mouth falls open in surprise. What? You can't do that. I have a right to service, and you can't ban me for no reason.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. You're bitching and moaning. Leave or I'm calling the police. What?
The customer huffs in annoyance, but clearly doesn't want to get the cops involved. She scowls at you. Fine, I'll leave, but you can be sure I'm going to tell everyone I know about your terrible service and attitude.
Thanks for the 25, but this is officially your last day in stream. Huh? What? No one loves you.
The customer sputters in anger, your words hitting a nerve. How dare you? I, I, I have plenty of friends, and they would all be on my side.
Ain't no need to well foreigner. What? Okay. That doesn't make sense, no?
The customer sighs in frustration, clearly realizing she can't win this argument. She huffs and mutters under her breath, Fine, I'm leaving. But this isn't the last you'll see of me. I'll be back, and I'll be making sure to speak to your supervisor next time.
Nah, this is the last time you see me. This is the last time you see me. Blows her car with C4.
Send the big black man who worked there to drag
The
her
customer's
away.
eyes widen in horror and she screams as her car explodes. The other customers in the drive-thru are shocked and horrified as they watch the scene unfold. Some of them scream. The police arrive to investigate the scene and arrest you for the crime.
I got locked up. Around the city and the city knows I'm amateur. Would do this for no reason. Ow. Well, I guess we got locked up. Worth it though with the C4? Yeah.
You are taken to the police station, where you are interrogated by officers who want to know why you blew up the woman's car.
Escapes and goes back to job.
You manage to escape from the police station and return to your job. The other employees are surprised to see you, wondering how you escaped from police custody.
Just escapes.
The manager approaches you, looking concerned and confused. How did you get back here? I thought you were arrested.
I am the manager. Who are you?
The manager looks at you in shock, not believing his eyes. You managed to escape from the police and come back here? That is impressive. But yes, you are correct. I am the manager of this McDonald's restaurant.
I am the manager.
The manager looks confused, wondering if you've lost your mind. I'm sorry, but I'm the one who has been running this restaurant for years. How could you be the manager?
I've been running for 2 decades.
The manager is dumbfounded, not sure how to respond to your claim. He crosses his arms. I'm not sure where you're getting that idea from. I've been the manager for over 10 years. I don't know how you could have been running this place for 2 decades.
Bro. So that's my point. I'm the manager. The fuck? No line in my restaurant.
The manager rolls his eyes, starting to get annoyed at your persistence. Okay, let's assume for a moment that you are indeed the manager. Can you prove it? Where are your credentials? Any sort of documentation to back up your claim?
Kicks her out. No bullshit in my restaurant.
The manager, growing more and more agitated, grabs your arm and
Underscore
forcibly
underscore
removes you from
underscore
the
underscore
restaurant.
underscore
That's
underscore
enough! I
underscore
don't know
underscore
what game you're
underscore.
playing, but I'm not going to tolerate it any longer. You're
I
no longer welcome here. Leave and don't come back.
am I the customer? What happened? I was the manager, but now I'm the customer. What the f...
The manager looks at your credentials in surprise, his eyes widening as he realizes that you indeed have documentation to back up your claim. Well, I'll be damned. It seems like you really are the manager after all.
Yup. I guess you're fired.
The manager's jaw drops. He stares at you in disbelief. Wait, what? You can't just fire me like that. I've been working here for years. I have a family to feed.
Don't disrespect me like that.
The manager looks at you with a mixture of anger and fear. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you. I was just surprised, that's all. Please, I have a family to support. Can't you give me another chance?
Yeah. Leaked. Yeah. If you take my place in prison.
The manager looks at you with a mixture of horror and shock. Wait, what? You want me to take your place in prison? That's crazy. You can't be serious.
I'm serious. You get paid at least. Support your family.
The manager bites his lip, unsure whether he should accept your offer. But it's prison! I don't know if I can handle being locked up in there, knowing I could be away from my family for God knows how long.
I'll pay you rupees. That should do it.
The manager huffs, still not convinced. 0.1 rupees? That's like nothing. How is that supposed to support my family?
That's way more than nothing. There are other people who are way more fortunate than you.
Semicolon hash and hash greater than divided by.
The
At
manager
divided by
pauses
less
for a
than
moment.
greater than divided by greater than dollar napwugsichnik __ 2984840 times 9.
The manager pauses for a moment, looking at you with begrudging acceptance. I suppose you're right. There are people in worse situations than me.
Yo.
All right, fine, I'll do it. I'll take your place in prison. But you better keep your promise and help support my family while I'm away.
Yes, prison or get fired. So I'm financially
The
zero.
manager sighs, realizing he has no other choice. He nods reluctantly. Okay, fine, I'll go to prison. Just please make sure my family is taken care of while I'm locked up.
Yup. I got you. I'll be financially like we agree.
Kidnap and enslave his family, then sell them at black market.
Okay. I don't know how to spell that, whatever.
The manager groans, clearly upset about the small amount of money he's gonna get, but he has no other choice. He nods again. Yeah, that's what we agreed on. 0.01 rupees per month. Just make sure my family doesn't starve, okay?
Bro, what?
The manager grumbles but doesn't say anything more, accepting his fate. So, when do I have to report to prison? And how long do I have to stay there for?
Now, for 69 years.
The manager's eyes widen in shock and disbelief. 69 years? You're telling me I have to spend 69 years in prison? That's a lifetime.
You're not that guy,
My
pal.
life
Trust
will
me.
be over
You're
by
not
then.
that guy.
Nah, you got
I'm about to come.
you got 31 years left after that.
The manager looks puzzled, trying to make sense of what you're saying. Wait, what do you mean? If I have to spend 69 years in prison, how do I have only 31 years left?
To spend out the prison.
The manager's face goes pale as he realizes what you're saying. Wait, so you're telling me that I actually have to spend 69 years in prison and 31 years out of prison? That's a total of 100 years. I'll be 148 years old by then. I'll be an old man by the time I'm released.
Yeah, you live 148 years. Okay. I think my autism was autisming. And, yeah. Oh, well. Anyway. Well.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Hope you enjoyed your stay. And, I'll see y'all tomorrow. So, peace out and good night. 8 years old. Hey, I'm not that guy, but I am that fellow.